Welcome to Roundabout Cast 102, where the funniest part of the podcast was 30 seconds ago before we were recording.
Bum, 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 bum.
This is our first podcast of the year, which always comes with a lot of baggage because we tend to skip December. Either at best it's like early December, if not that, it just doesn't happen because we do Game of the Year instead, which is a whole event for us. And this year we did Media of the Year, which was great. I was just looking at our list earlier today. I was like, damn, we made a fine ass list. I was really happy with how that shook out.
And it's very fun because, like, Media of the Year, like, it effectively functions as Game of the Year because you could just look at the games on there, but then we also had fun looking at it and we're like, what was our favorite movie that came out this year?
Yeah. We had a solid top 5 of everything, basically, if you go down that. None of our friends watched it, so that's cool.
It's so sad.
Tyler posted it in our shitpost channel in our friend Discord. I was like, oh, ain't no one to check it out. But I had a lot of fun. I think we should do it next year. And
Great.
And I will fix the Unity project that was horribly broken. I will also point out Tyler is under the weather, so he won't be talking much, I imagine.
Special shout-outs to Tommy, because I'm pretty sure he watched it the day we posted it.
That's true.
Yeah.
We do have a real one, if you're listening. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, it was
And
funny.
Randolph.
No, the homeboy Raph. That's true.
Oh, Raph. That's yeah.
No, yeah, I remember we mentioned in a podcast, like, I don't know, does anyone listening to this podcast care about Game of the Year and Media of the Year? Because no one comments on those videos, even though, like, they comment on, like, our normal podcast, but never those videos, and that's always the case.
It's because we make them too mad and they're just like, what the fuck? My favorite thing's 4 instead of 1.
But we always say dumb shit every time we record one of these, so it's like, I think that's par for the course.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to do, there's 2 quick stop sections to this podcast. The first one is a as fast as possible recap of the media that we covered since the last podcast, but we also talked about in Media of the Year. So these things popped up in Media of the Year. I don't know a good way to do this, so I'm gonna list them out, and you guys jump in and give your like 2-sentence hot take to be monitored in this particular podcast. So Bradley and I have been playing a bunch of Kirby Air Riders. We actually just found out yesterday that we have like a very similar hour count to currently.
Which, like, man, this is a game that is so beloved, not just by us, but, like, I was even at work and the people I know who have played it are like, oh my god, like, I never even played the original and I've been going nuts on it.
Yeah, I've seen the sentiment of like people didn't like the demo for this game because it does not make a good first impression at all. But once you like commit to it, this game is so fun. I'll throw in also Sonic Crossroads.
Y'all are already over the limit. Okay.
That's why I'm moving to the next thing, Joseph. Sonic Crossroads actually wasn't even in Media of the Year, but I shouted it out. I've been playing this game a lot. I reached Legend rank before going off on a little mini vacation, and I was like fiending to play it when I got back, and I did. This game
It was just of racing games.
What this has over the other racing games is like adrenaline and speed, but also like the customization shit is so fun. Just yesterday, I'm running like the worst kart combo that everyone's like, acceleration cars are bad, acceleration characters are bad. I like made a build of an acceleration character on an acceleration kart and was like doing really decently well in legend lobbies. I was like, anything can work if you like put the pieces right and play to your strengths. And I think that's such an addicting gameplay loop because every time I boot up, I'm like, okay, we're gonna play a new build this session, and or like go back to one of the old ones I've made and like see how I can optimize that, and that's super fun. Tyler finished Jojo's Part 6, the anime, and I was like, Tyler, so did you end up liking it? He's like, no. But what do you got to say about Part 6 real quick, Tyler? On to the next thing.
Damn.
Joe and I, unfortunately, I wish we could have talked about this more today, but we did.
Yeah.
We did give an impassioned talk about it in the Media of the Year, but we watched Wake Up Dead Man and we both loved it.
Yeah. We're the weirdos apparently.
Are we? I mean, amongst our friends, yes. The internet loves this movie. This is like
Oh, I've seen the internet like think this is like the worst of the three.
really. I've seen so much
Yeah.
some positivity towards it.
Yeah, they just.
I guess different corners.
Yeah.
I've seen mostly positivity on my end.
Yeah.
I will say.
They still say it's good. It's just like they think. I personally think this is my favorite Knives Out movie.
This
It's
is
my favorite movie I watched last year.
Yeah,
So.
it wasn't my favorite last year, but I really like its placing as like an average between us.
Yeah.
But it's definitely up there. Definitely my favorite Knives Out. Also, people are coming around on Glass Onion, and me and Joe were immediately like, "Yeah, Glass Onion's great." So
Kelly's literally watching Glass Onion in her office right now.
fuck yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. We played a bunch of Dispatch. We talked a good bit about Dispatch.
Mhm.
I will note that also I had to get that gargantuan time down. I had to cut a little bit out of every section. So Knives Out and
Yeah.
Dispatch had some like notable
Yeah.
portions I had to cut out for time's sake, and also when we ramble for too long.
I got my friend to play Dispatch. She really liked it, but she's really upset with the ending she got which I think is the same. It was the same complaint y'all had.
Yes, which is like, wait, we made that character a villain? That's not the read I had. But then the text says, yeah, she hates you now. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like yeah, I think it might be a little bit too strict. I didn't get that ending, but
Yeah.
that's
Well,
just me.
You were in her pocket the whole time, as it were.
It's true. But then she was in mine.
Tyler finished My Hero Academia, the anime, which
Yeah.
I kind of want to start watching the My Hero anime. Like that seems like the excellent like put it on the back and don't really watch it kind of anime because I've read it all. So
Yeah. Especially season 6.5 through 7.5. Yeah.
yeah, that's the vibe I got.
Basically until the final fight starts.
And you know what? I'll cut the recap there. I will let you guys have a little more breathing room for Andor and Rogue One in the main roads because that went pretty quick.
Okay.
Look at us.
Good deal.
We will roll into actual quick stops where I could start. I went on vacation, impromptu. It was a great call. So basically, like New Year's Eve, I had to take like a week off of vacation because I hit like a PTO cap at work, and I was just planning to like. It's the first time I get to spend a week in my house and like just do stuff around the house and like watch stuff and play video games, catch up on stuff I'm missing, order stuff, like do a bunch of shopping for the house, like just have a lot of time to run errands but also rest. But then I was like, well, I have to travel this year for a certain someone's wedding who is in Italy. I might also like do some more traveling later this year. My brother wants to travel with me. And it's like, I don't know the next time I will be having a chance to go to Brazil to visit my family. So I like last second bought a ticket to Brazil. Fun fact, I bought it with my credit card miles or like points, which I've never done before. So it was completely free. So that was nice. I now make sure to put everything on the credit card because I've been slacking on that and I did not realize how clutch that could be for trips like that.
I get I have to do work trips and they'll pay for
hell
my
yeah.
flight. I have to pay for everything else. I put all that shit on the credit card. I immediately get expense back when I get back into my office.
Fuck yeah.
So it's free, not free money.
It's free real estate, and in the
Yeah.
world we live in, you gotta get every like little advantage you got. So
So true.
definitely enjoy doing that. I hung out at my dad's. He lives at like a really nice gated community, so it's like safe. His house is like really interesting and cool. So it's also summertime there, while it's wintertime in the U.S. where we live. So I escaped the winter, hung out poolside, swam, hung out on the hammock, and then like read a bunch of stuff and watched a bunch of stuff, which we'll talk about later, both on the plane and while I was hanging out there, and then just hung out at their place. They were working, so I like a lot of my family was working, so we had like a barbecue with my dad's side of the family the Sunday I got in, where we drank so many beers and cachaça, which is like a Brazilian spirit. And then a little later in the week, I just hung out with some of my aunts and uncles, the ones that could make it out. But there's two types of trips when I go to Brazil. It's either you go see the whole family trip, which is like go track down 200 people and go to all their like houses individually or try to schedule something big. I like to do those with my brother. It's a lot easier. And then I had the actual chill trip. Hung out with my dad, his wife, and my sister a lot, and yeah, it was a great time. So some plane movies. I watched 2 plane movies. Both of these Tyler has watched. One was Friendship, which came up in Media of the Year, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Goated movie.
Goated is a strong word. I didn't really like this movie very much.
Is it at least funny?
Sometimes. I noted some of my favorite bits, but also some of the cringiest bits. There's this bit, Tyler, where he like embarrasses himself in front of Paul Rudd's friends and then starts eating soap. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? I also like the no Marvel spoilers running gag. I liked him trying to fight the mayor. And like the thing is Tim is not really charming at all in this. He's just kind of annoying. But then I remember it's like, wait, I don't like Tim Robinson's show either. I like some of the bits, like they're S tier bits. And then if it's not an S tier bit, it's like D tier, like for me. So he's so hit or miss. So it's like I think thinking about like 55 burgers, 55 fries, and like I'm just here for the zip line, kind of like Latina brainwashed me into thinking that I like Tim Robinson more than I do, but I don't.
Yeah.
And this movie kind of reminded me.
Latina brainwash.
Who's
Yeah.
Latina?
You got to hop onto Orbology, brother.
A what?
You're way behind, dude.
He has not been watching my videos. And then also he has a.
Go ahead.
Yes, your question first.
I was just gonna say, my favorite bit in the movie is when he's in the garage playing the drums.
Yeah.
And the guy walks up and he goes, "How's it feel to leave your wife behind and just like to die?" And he's like, "Oh man, get the fuck out of here." And he's like, "No man, I live for this shit. I'm a free citizen, man." And it's just this dude. So there is an unedited version of that scene that they filmed. It's like 14 minutes long of them just ad-libbing back and forth.
Oh no! You know what? It has that energy of like a really cut like ad-lib sesh. Also, when he licks the toad and his trip is going to Subway, that's actually the funniest bit I think for me.
Oh, he's like, "I ordered a sandwich."
He's like, the toad works in mysterious ways. I don't know.
What did you do? He's like, "I ordered."
Oh my god.
I've been trying to get your attention.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm just letting you.
What the fuck was that?
That's our special guest.
He ordered.
God.
That's
Sorry. Hold on. So my dad stays with me during the week because he drives into town, and he came home, and he just got home, and he's been trying to get my attention, and he turned off my entire room, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Sorry.
That's really funny.
I mean, there's a man. I was like, "What?"
Oh man, that's good. Good bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, Friendship is decent. Didn't love it, but you know, it's aight. I don't dislike it, so it's got that going for it.
What was the next movie?
The next movie was Mickey 17. Now, this movie I expected to really like. I think this movie is worse than Friendship. That was actually the worst movie I watched on the flight.
The premise of Mickey 17 sounded good, but I haven't heard a single person come out of it going, "Oh my god, that was the fucking
It's
movie."
also by what's his name? Boon, the guy from Parasite, which we'll talk about later, who's a fantastic director, Korean director. The premise is really good. And then the plot starts, like the actual premise kicks in. Mickey 18 is introduced. And the movie nosedives so hard at that point, where the actual story that this movie is so uninteresting.
Mickey 17 is essentially Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind from 1984, which is a Ghibli film. If they placed Donald Trump in that movie. That's Mickey 17.
That's true. Thank you, Tyler Kelly. We have
You're
a lot of
welcome.
guests today. A lot of jump scares. She's right. Trump is in the movie. Now, I'm having a flashback to when Tyler watched this, and he was like, dude, Donald Trump is literally a character in the movie. And I was like, this seems like a Tylerism. Is he literally a character in the movie? And Tyler, of course, said yes. No, he's not. Not quite. But Mark Ruffalo is doing his absolute best Donald Trump impression. So that is definitely the case.
Like he's in the movie.
He's not literally a character in the movie, which is what I asked.
I mean, okay.
I forget if you like this movie a lot.
It's fine. I think, honestly, the American satirical parts are so over-the-top done that it kind of detracts from the interesting aspects of the movie.
Yeah, too much. I agree, and too much of the plot is that Toni Collette is doing her bitchy Toni Collette act that she can do. She did it in Knives Out as well. Same kind of character.
Honestly, I see it's probably gonna happen sooner than later, that all of the big Marvel original 7 are gonna have a hard time finding work because people only see them as those characters.
Mark Ruffalo was in what's it called?
Poor Things.
Poor Things.
Wait,
and
hold
he
on,
was
hold on.
really good.
Kelly
Yeah.
is telling me that they'll be in Viagra commercials. Which one's in a Viagra commercial?
We don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
No.
It's coming soon.
She has insider knowledge. This is confirmed. It's gonna be.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be Hawkeye. By the way.
Jeremy Renner. Yeah.
You want the guy that got run over by a snow plow to be the spokesperson for Viagra?
I don't
Yeah,
want
he's
that
gonna-
for him, but it's gonna happen if someone's
gonna
gonna.
He's got to get his blood pumping soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
So-
wrecked up down there.
Those are the movies, and then I've been reading
Oh.
a bunch of Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Excellent.
So
So, did you finish Gate of the Feral Gods?
yes, that's book 4.
Yeah, where they're on the 5th floor with the bubbles.
Yes, I did finish that one. I don't really have a lot to say. I feel like these books go from like I'm in, and then I'm starting to lose interest, and then the next book is good again. To me, they've been hit or miss.
I didn't like Gate of the Feral Gods that much. I think it is one of the weaker ones.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like the interesting things that happened. I will say, I don't really like what I found out as of book 5. I don't really like anything happening in the dungeon. I actually really like the overarching plot. Whenever we're doing overarching plot stuff, like going to the talk shows and other stuff that we do in book 5 that's like beyond that, and even like there's like an interlude at the end of book 4 with like other characters that are really interesting.
Because
Yeah.
even if they're moving through they can be moving through the dungeon, but it only really feels like the plot is moving forward. I feel like when they're doing that extra stuff.
Because it's like Matt Dinniman has like such a 13-year-old sense of humor where it's like, I'm going to introduce a character that's like a sex doll head and she talks and she screams a lot. It's like, I can tell to him that is the funniest thing on the planet, and good on him. And Tyler also has the humor of a 13-year-old. So
Oh
that's-
no! See, I think that's where like the problem might come from. Is
Tyler's 14 now.
You think that people think it's supposed to be funny, but it's Samantha is supposed to be annoying. She's a rubber Chekhov's gun sex doll head.
But that's like what all the humor is. It's like, oh, now we're fighting like a big penis monster. That doesn't actually happen, but that is like the vibe of what would happen. Now, I will say, book 4, I was just saying I don't like the stuff in the dungeon. Book 4 had the 2 best action sequences in any of the books, which is the underwater sequence with the big fish.
That is like one of the peak moments of suspense.
That was raw. That was good. But then also, like, once we get the Gate of the Feral God set up, which I won't go into too much detail because Bradley slowly reads these as well. The stuff that happens in like the climax with like those gods and whatnot, that was really cool. But yeah, I will say, I was like falling off again. Book 5 is immediately like, it's like book 3 where like, oh, we're doing plot again. Like we're doing good plot.
Yeah.
I just recently got to where Carl goes to CrawlCon, but like a bunch of genuinely interesting things happened. Also, there was a talk show with Carl Donut and like another character earlier in this book that I was like, oh, we're doing this. That's really interesting. Um, so I'm way more engaged on book 5 than 4. So that's where I am.
Yeah. What do you think? So, did you like the bubble domes or eh?
They were again like the actual gamey parts, like the quests, the like game design of the story. I don't really like that much.
You didn't like the ghost pterodon?
I don't even remember what the Ghost Pterodon is.
There's a what is it called? It's like it's not a pterodactyl. I think it's the pterodon. Yeah, there's a ghost. There's an enemy in book 4, Joe. I think you'll find this entertaining because it's dinosaur related.
Okay.
It's a pterodon that's a ghost, and it haunts a temple, like Spelunky 2. Like if you wait too long, the ghost just comes and gets you. But it's a giant fucking pteranodon. Sorry.
It's something, all right.
Yeah.
I like the idea of floor 6, the hunting grounds, or is that 5?
Yeah.
I like
No,
the,
that's 6. So
I like the idea
Three.
of the hunting grounds, but what's actually happened so far, as far as like the interaction with the hunters and the crawlers, is not that interesting. Though I think I'm about to get to the interesting stuff because Carl is just coming back from the con, and he's basically like he's set up to where like at the moment you step out of this, we're gonna jump your ass in the game.
oh yeah, with that one character.
Yeah, so like that's pretty cool. So yeah,
What did you think of? What did you think about Carl taking care of his agent in book 4?
taking care of his agent?
He had a
Oh,
somebody
that
who took
wait,
over for
yes.
Zev.
Sorry, that is the best part of book 4. I forgot about that. I was like, there was something I really liked in book 4 story wise. That's definitely the best part. That's one of the best parts yet. I also really like the lawyer guy that's been introduced. He's fun.
The lawyer's great. He is your typical gray alien.
Yeah, yeah. There's just some like, little green and gray dudes that are also part of the lore, and they're like frowned upon amongst alien society. That's pretty fun. I will.
I like how default standard aliens were such a common trope that they eventually became uncommon because people didn't want to do them, and now when they actually show up, it's like, oh my god, it's like
It's like
an
a little
actual
gray.
alien.
a little gray guy.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say is I've kept my eye on the fact that Carl has a catchphrase he says like all the time where it's you won't break me, I will break you. Very more recently he's been saying half of that catchphrase a lot more often than the other half, and I think that speaks to his mindset in a pretty interesting way. So
There is a nice culmination to that
I had a feeling that this is intentional.
in
Yeah.
the next book on floor 7.
Cool. Well, that's Carl.
Are you enjoying Katya's presence in the party?
Well, I mean, she has less presence now. She's been one of my favorite characters. The core party is good. The characters are good in this story, which is why I like.
I
like
hate
when-
Samantha. I think everybody hates Samantha.
I
think
don't
that's
hate
the point.
Samantha. I just don't think she's funny, and I feel like she's.
Oh no,
is.
she's not.
But I actually kind of. I kind of like her just yelling like I'm gonna kill your mother. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's goofy. I think they'll do something interesting with her. I do have. Her.
Oh, they did a very important thing in book 5, in the Gate of the Feral Gods. They did a very important side quest in this one with the changelings.
Yes.
Do you recall this?
I mean, I recall that they're now like there was the flying house, and now they're looking over them, and they've made a promise.
Yeah. So Bradley, this is a little spoiler for you, but
La,
they
la,
took
la,
an
la, la.
yeah they took an entire section of NPCs and took them down to a lower floor. Which, Willer, as I'm rereading book 2 now, I've already reread 1 or re-listened to it.
You should read the books.
I've got Tress of the Emerald Sea on deck.
Oh hell yeah!
But
In book
as
2.
I'm going through, you got to remember the NPCs, all of them, their main goal is
to get to like floor 9 or something, right?
to descend lower. And here's another thing to note, and this has never been confirmed, I don't think, because a lot of NPCs are like dungeon generated, so they're like,
Brainwashed and whatnot.
yeah, and you see some of it break over time. But not every NPC is like dungeon born, you know, like some of them were like ex crawlers that get turned into NPCs.
Yeah. I also recently started getting lore on like how the games were created from that CrowdCon chapter. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yep.
Also, like last note, you accidentally spoiled something for me in Media of the Year, like something big.
What?
I don't want to draw a note to it. I don't want to talk about it for too much. But once the spoiler gets revealed, I will tell you what you spoiled me on, because I don't want to confirm nor denied.
Oh,
But it's also something I've been suspecting for a while, but you kind of like let it slip because you were drinking the wines. But
I will.
since I
My
have to
defense
edit
is
it.
I never expected any of you to make it this far.
Well, no, it happened 2 weeks ago. So, yeah. As I was editing, I was like, that was an interesting thing he said there. Curse of editing that video. So
Yeah.
I will pass the baton on to Joe.
Yeah. All right. I got Switch 2 for Christmas.
We actually all have
fun.
Switch 2s now, as it turns
It
out.
feels
Yeah.
good to all have Switch 2s.
We do. I don't have a Switch online, as I remembered and found out when we tried to do Mario Kart at Willard's.
Oh yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. But I really like the feel of that console. It's really, really good.
I've been
it's light.
bringing it to my office to play Fire Emblem and now Unicorn Overlord, and it's quite nice. I like the kickstand is so much better on this one.
Yeah, it's I'm going on a work trip in like 2 weeks, so I'm gonna bring it there. We have a 3-hour car ride we're gonna have to do later, so I'm gonna knock out a bunch of shit in that. So I'm excited. I got the board game Arc because I played 2 games with my cousins over Christmas or Christmas Day. That's a really fun game. I would love to play it with more people. I know Willer, you played it. We've discussed offline. You say it's very aggressive and it favors aggression.
From what I remember, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. But I would also say that I don't know what y'all's mindset was coming into the game, but when I started playing that game, I immediately was like, oh, I just need to go. There is no like trying to like negotiate. Like you just need to do your thing and keep going. It's not like a Twilight Imperium kind of thing. You have to like really maneuver and like think out your turns. I really like the game a lot. I'm hoping I can get to like a 3 or 4 player game at one point, but we'll have to see with my board game group if things ever happen, because some of them moved away to other towns, which is unfortunate.
Bummer.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Sorry, I was reading something. I read a book called All That We See and Seen by Ken Liu. Ken Liu is the author of the Dandelion Dynasty,
which did quite well in Media of the Year as a little.
It did.
Just a roll.
Yep.
Teeth on the table.
Teeth on the board.
Or whatever.
Yep. This is his first book outside of the Dandelion Dynasty. Is like essentially a start of a new series. It's only 10 hours long. It's not very long. Like at all. I think it's like 10 hours long. I might be wrong. It was very, very short compared to his previous works. I think I definitely enjoy Dandelion Dynasty more. Ken Liu works so better, I think, in a long format, and a much more like his like grand idea storytelling is so much better than his like person to person like storytelling. I feel, not saying that there isn't like great moments in Dandelion Dynasty where it's 2 people talking, but like in this one that's a lot more modern. It's very much dealing with like the rise of AI and like over consumerism with AI and like it taking over our lives and like artistic creativity. It's also a murder mystery. I think the worst part of it was the murder mystery of the story. But at the same time, all of his like concepts of like what is AI within like the entertainment world, what does that mean for an artist, what happens when like an artist like doesn't utilize AI, what happens when they use it too much, what happens when like it brings up a lot of questions that I really, really liked. So I overall liked the book. I just think that like it's a very big departure from how he usually tells stories. So I think there's just some rough edges there. But I still enjoyed the book. So I'll probably pick up the next one and make my final decisions there. I'm currently reading now Before They Are Hanged, which is the second book in the First Law trilogy. I've got like 10 hours left
Which
in that
was
book.
the Blade itself?
Yes.
The first one? Okay.
Yep. I have a much better idea of like what that fucking book series is about now, which is great. But I'm 10 hours away from finishing that, and that's been great. And then I might pick up, depending on when I finish and when another person finishes their current book, I might end up reading the third book from Tana French.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
'Cause
the Faithful Places. That might be my favorite. It's that or the fourth one so far.
Yeah, so a friend of mine picked up like a box set of the books, and she read the first one. She thought the book was beautifully written, but fucking hated Rob Roy or whatever his name is.
Love Rob so much. That is such a fascinating main character.
I totally understand where she's coming from though, but she really liked is it Cassie? What's her name?
Yeah, Cassie.
Yeah, but she really liked that character. I was like, good news. The second book is all her.
Yeah, that is very good news.
So I told her that, like, you know, if you finish it and you want to read the third one, let me know, and I will also read it. We'll book club it together. So yeah. But that being said, all that we see in Steam, I really enjoyed it. I don't think any of y'all would enjoy it. I think it's just a little bit too lackluster for you, Willer, and I think it's just a little bit too weirdly written for everyone else. But I really enjoyed it. His climax was both rushed but very good. It's really strange. I've never had that experience that before. He's great at making tense moments. But I enjoyed the book. And then finally, I've been playing after Christmas, or during Christmas, I got the X-Men starter pack for Marvel Crisis Protocol. And the X-Men starter pack is really an X-Men box and a Brotherhood of Mutants box. So that's like Magneto, Mystique, like that whole faction.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been playing a lot of Brotherhood of Mutants for Marvel Crisis Protocol, and I have been really liking this like faction. It's a very brawly faction, but very objective focused. So you have to build your deck where like all the objectives are very close together. So you have to force them to fight, and they can't get away very far. But Magneto and his crew have great displacement capabilities. Like Magneto can literally point at somebody and they just move, and it doesn't cost them anything. All it does is cost him an action that he was going to do anyways, which is like, I'm going to blow you up and then I'm going to move you. And then he can then use the energy he gains off of that to throw a bunch of objects at people. And then for every object he destroys, he powers up the rest of his team. And then you throw on top of that Juggernaut, who is a crazy character who like will walk forward, break something, pass out power to everyone else, punch a guy for 8 damage, throw another guy, and then keep walking forward. It's just a really fun affiliation that I've really enjoyed. And I'm probably going to end up playing it in our league that's coming up. I've been paying a lot of it. I've been posting it in our Discord chats, friends. There's a really funny and kind of a foreshadowing for a segment later. Willer mentioned that in one of my channels, he could spot the TV show I was watching while I was painting based on the trees that were in the corner of the shot.
You can't fool me.
Yeah, and I looked at the picture. I'm like, that is the most tree ass trees I've ever seen. Like, I could not believe them.
But I've seen those trees.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, I also got a fancy new box for Crisis Protocol. I'll have to get a picture of it and send to y'all. But yeah, it's a great affiliation. I'm having a really fun time with it, and I played 2 games of it yesterday. I had some really good games. Also, I got casually spoiled by the guy I was playing with because he's a tester for the game, and I was just like, oh, that's cool. And I'm very excited for the next set of boxes I'm probably gonna pick up later.
Neat.
Yeah, but yeah, that's me.
Who's next?
I think that would be me.
All right, yeah, we said Tyler's going last.
Yeah.
So, this didn't make it into media of the year. We watched Squid Game Challenge a little bit. Me and Austin were watching it, and I think Willer jumped in with us and ended up finishing it too.
Season 2. I couldn't be asked for season 1.
I was entertained. I think it is a funny game show. It's also just real. Half the time it's hilarious just because of how like cheesy it can be, because they try to like take real people and make them into storylines, and a lot of the contestants know this and are trying to make themselves kind of into characters.
When you die in this game, you have to like pretend die. You have to fall and go ugh, and like
Yeah,
lay
they
down
actually have
dramatically.
a thing that explodes
And
under
I
your
laugh,
shirt. And people,
and I laugh every time, but I laugh even more when the front man comes out, and it's like, you're nothing in this world. Like this isn't a real game, therefore you're nothing. You're just a
You're just
guy.
so it's pretty fun. The season 2 did probably have my least favorite moment out of both seasons, where they after one of the games.
Oh my
Season
god.
1, it was cheesy, and obviously storylines are kind of manufactured by producers. But in season 1, nobody ever did anything that made me think a producer explicitly told them to do that. In season 2, after one of the games, or not even after one of the games, during one of the games, after enough people have been eliminated, all the contestants hold hands and they're like, "We're not playing this game anymore." And Willer was like, "There's no way that happened naturally."
No, dude. And then
No,
they're all like, grab one person and hold their hand. Everybody grab one person and just hold on to each other, because the guy's gonna come out and say, okay, I'm gonna make you play a 1v1 game against your best friend now. From the person that you're like, it was the most manufactured thing. But aside from like, it wasn't that bad aside from that, like Bradley's saying, but that one was so blatant.
Not like whenever they are actually playing the games, though, I think it is very entertaining.
Dude, the shoots and ladder game where it's like you have to go down pipes, and if you choose the wrong pipe, you get yeeted off the planet and die. Very Squid Game's kaiju style.
Like you fall, because that's the thing. They like in season 1 they did the game from season 1 of Squid Game where it's like the glass bridge, and they show the people falling, and I was like, what's actually happening there?
So yeah, they like CGI like a person falling and going ah and falling into a black abyss, which is like not what's happening. Like it's...
Well, apparently they are falling. Like some of the contestants said they have like a rope net down below. They're like, it is just not nearly as far as they make it look in the show.
It
In the
did
show,
not
they
look
make it
realistic.
like an abyss.
It did not look realistic, but okay, I will take their word for it.
It's entertaining enough that I'm probably gonna watch season 3.
I want to cut off like the push glasses like Reddit, Twitter anti commentary against this, where it's like they're literally doing exactly what the show is criticizing, and it's not quite what the show is criticizing, because the show's putting people in actual like life or death situations for a bunch of money. This is a show where you can win $4.6 million. That is more than Survivor by a factor of 4.6. Like, this is the most money ever. And it's just simply not that serious, dog. Like, they're not getting people who are like gambling addicts off the streets and like putting them through death games and like exploiting them. Like, they're exploiting them for TV, but no less than any other reality TV show. So it's like I don't think it's quite as serious as like they're literally doing what the show's criticizing against. Like, the show is a critique on capitalism and those social structures, but I don't think it's that serious.
This is mostly just here to have fun. And there are some moments, like in season 2, when there weren't very many people left. There was one guy I kind of fucking hated, because I think when they had cut down the total amount of people down to like maybe 30 or 40, and everyone's kind of sharing the reasons they're there, there were a couple people who were there, like this one lady, and I think she was like, you know, my child just has all these fucking medical bills, and it's America, and there's just no fucking way I can pay them, which is the story for a lot of people, actually. There were quite a few people there to pay for medical bills for family members, and there was this one guy who got up that far, and he kind of endeared himself to all the other players by lying about having like a newborn baby on the way, and like, oh my god, like me and my wife just aren't gonna have money to raise this baby, and everyone's like, oh, and they're like looking out for him and stuff like that. And then later, one person who actually was there for her baby finds out he was lying about that, and she's like, I don't know, I think you're a fucking asshole, frankly. I don't know, she did not like him, and I didn't either.
It's there's some very good reality trash in this show, which I will always advocate for. Sometimes you just need to watch something that's like, wow, I'm better than all these people, like mentally. It's just something to not think about. It's very good.
But,
Actually, this show is not that bad. That's me when I'm watching like Mormon Wives or The Circle, where I was like, these people are messy.
So that's Squid Game the challenge. It's not like the craziest thing ever. For another quickie, I watched Avatar Fire and Ash. I didn't want to turn it into a full segment. I'm the only one who watched it, and I really liked the movie, but I don't think I have like paragraphs and paragraphs to say about it.
That's interesting because my brother also watched the movie and he thought the movie was very underwhelming. Like he was kind of
Apparently, I didn't even know you were into Avatar. Like, I don't remember if you watched the second one.
No, I've watched both of them. Here's the thing. I think Avatar gets a lot of undue hate. I hadn't watched any of them until a couple of years ago when Emmy showed me Avatar 1. And up till that point, I was kind of primed to hate the movies because they get a lot of hate online. I feel like they're very overhated. I think these are very good movies.
I don't know. I think Avatar 1, the story is such a nothing burger. But I hear Avatar 2 is like a genuine step up in like.
I don't even think Avatar 1's a nothing burger. It moved me to tears. I thought it was great.
I feel like I've just seen that story told many times, or like that theme.
That's the thing. The gripe I hear about it is, oh, it's just Pocahontas. It's just Dances with Wolves, which like, okay, like you can draw comparisons between any story, and it is based on that type of thing. But I think it's really reductive to call it just Pocahontas in space. I think there's a lot of cool original stuff in this world.
Well, I didn't say that. Maybe I thought it, but I didn't say it. So I will abstain there. I need to reevaluate.
That being said, I think if you don't like Avatar movies, you probably won't like this movie. If you already love Avatar movies, you'll probably love it because this had a lot of stuff that I was hoping to see after becoming a fan of the first two relatively recently. That being said, I think the one thing I will give people about these movies is the only other real complaint I see besides like, oh, it's just Pocahontas, is that relative to how big the production of these movies are and relative to how financially successful they are, they don't have a lot of pop culture impact compared to stuff like Marvel movies, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I think is 100% true. And I was trying to figure out why, and I'm
Hold on, can we unpack that real quick? Because it does have like a land in Disney, like it's multi-billion grossing. There's people like VR games, like it's not Marvel level, but it's got like an impact that I think is more normie. You know,
but the thing is, it's like it's made so much money.
Yeah.
But like, I am not seeing people make Avatar like their entire personalities.
Here's my deal: Marvel movies, they're quotes from Marvel movies, if you stop to listen for them, have just become part of the English language, at least in the US. And like they're so insanely quotable. And I think part of that might just be because of how Marvel movies are written. They are written to be simultaneously comedic and serious, and so there's a lot of quippy dialogue.
They're quip machines. So
I don't know if the dialogue in Avatar lends itself towards being memeable or quotable. So maybe that like kind of takes away from its pop culture impact. But I'm here to defend Fire and Ash. I think it's really good. I'm not calling it a 10 out of 10 or anything. It was at least like an 8 out of 10 for me.
I think I need to watch the second one to see if like that one grabs me, because the things I saw were really cool. The cultural impact of Avatar is this gif of like one of the Na'vis like rolling off of a ship dead. Just because I see that posted online a lot, and that's the only thing I see aside from like people just genuinely talking about the movie. So yeah, I don't think it's very memeable, which is a problem.
The only other thing I have to say about Avatar before we move on is I think this is a relatively recent development. They removed like one of the most important scenes from the first movie.
What?
For being too. Their reasoning was being the scene was too inappropriate. It is what people normally call the sex scene, which, I mean, that kind of is what it is to Na'vi. It's where they link up their tail hair things, because that is how sex. But it's not just sex to their species and culture. It's there's no real analog to the human experience for it. It's a very important part of the movie where he's connecting to her and her culture and to Na'vi as a whole, and he finally has this understanding.
Yeah, he is. The whole point is that he's like in, like,
they removed
in many senses.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
spider
They
crawling
that
down
from
here.
the movie because
Yeah.
they were like, oh, it's too sexual, it's too inappropriate, and I'm like, what's the point of the movie? That's the movie right there.
It's the turning point. It's like
It
he's in.
is.
Like it's he's fully gone over to
Once you
Navi's
go
side.
blue, you never go back. That is the theme.
So hearing that they removed that scene from the first one really pissed me
That's
off.
whack.
but-
That's some Disneyfication shit right there.
Yeah.
I posted
but
the GIF
it's a
that I
bit.
always see, and it's a pretty good one. It's
Oh,
very
damn.
malleable. Anywho, that's all you got, Bradley, for Avatar.
That's all I got, Bradley. Now Tyler might be in Pizza Land, so if he is, we could move on to other things.
My favorite.
I'm not in.
Oh,
I'm
he's
not
not in Pizza Land.
Kirby's
I'm not.
Nightmare in Pizza Land. Tyler, why don't you tell me what you've been up to aside being a
This was some
sick boy?
goodness.
Other than the recap, I watched Parasite finally. I was incredibly whelmed. I thought the movie was a lot better than everybody hyped it up to be, but
You thought it was better than people hyped it up to be?
I honestly thought it was a different movie. Like, there's this other Korean movie, I think it's called Host. The Host.
Sequel.
No, I didn't think it was a sequel, but I thought, like, everybody's like, oh yeah, the twist is really good. I thought this movie was some type of like horror sci-fi movie the whole time.
No.
Yeah. So I just thought it was a completely different movie. This is not a movie for Tyler at all.
Well, damn.
Yeah, it's a good movie for sure, but like just not what I sat down to watch.
It's about characters and their development.
Correct.
There's no development in the movie really. They're all parasites, and it shows the whole time like they're shittily development. It's, you know what it reminds me of? It's a very elongated episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Sure.
Nobody?
No.
Okay.
Anybody?
Anybody?
I
No?
I disagree with everything you're saying, so it's best to just
Why?
let these slide because it's one of my favorite movies.
We were watching it, and she's like, "Get it? It's like they're parasites." I was like, "Yeah, like."
I like themes. Themes are my favorite thing. And
The
characters.
theme is the theme is, if you know what the word parasite means, you know what the theme is. It's not that deep.
Yeah, but except the worst thing you can say to someone is it's not that deep because it doesn't have to be that deep. It can just be good and you can enjoy it and you can look at how it was created and filmed and acted.
It was good. I didn't enjoy it. That's just for me. I would recommend people watch the movie if they like that. I rewatched all the Knives Out movies. I think the second one's my favorite now. Wild take, I know.
That is
but,
the uncommon take, but I think they're all really good.
Yeah.
I think everybody forgets how cool it was when halfway through the movie you just rewatch the movie again.
I don't
and
forget that. I know that.
That's pretty cool.
That seems like something you would complain about in another day, like if the sun was slightly shifted today.
Okay,
The
Willard,
photo-
but did you go? Okay, yeah, but she has a twin.
No, that's impossible. No one,
Yeah. No,
no one can know this.
It just
It's the
it just
best
so
part of the
happened
movie.
that the photon from the sun hit your TV at the right angle and hit your brainwaves correctly.
And you liked
did.
it, but
Yeah.
And that
I-
photon hit real good.
it's a good photon. No, I'm happy.
Um,
I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
Like Joe, I also got a Switch 2. It was gifted to me by my awesome fiance. She got me two awesome gifts. I got a GameCube and
Whoa,
a
Shit. Whoa.
Switch 2. Yeah, it's nice and purple. It's sitting on my shelf. It's encased right now. It's to whip out in case of emergency of nostalgia, because I was talking with Bradley about this. The Wii is not a suitable replacement for a GameCube interface.
Yeah, because the first thing when you said that, it's like, well, you could just use a Wii, but that's not. You're right. It's just
It's
not.
not.
It's just
Because
not.
you
not.
have to have double A's, because you
Let-
have to use the sensor bar, and you have to go select
Let-
the GameCube thing on
Let
the
me
menu.
tell you about how many blogs and videos there are of people using candles as infrared sensors for their Wiimotes.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's raw
I've
as
seen
hell.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So been playing Bravely Default Remaster.
One of your favorite
which
games of all time.
Ever.
this is not a remaster, I wouldn't say. It's just been upscaled to a Switch 2. Like they just put it all into a Switch 2 game.
Yeah, I didn't know this
Um,
existed until I saw you playing it the other day. I was like, what the fuck?
It's $40, by the way. Like they
Nice.
kept the DS price, which is wild for a remaster
We love it.
on Switch 2. Playing the game and recap, it's interesting. I've been. It took me a second, but I'm actually enjoying it now. I've realized in hindsight, if I made anybody play this game, I would say play the game on easy mode until you get like your first 4 classes and then switch it to hard, because the first 4 bosses you fight in the game are an unnecessary slog.
When you
Oh,
lent me the game, you didn't tell me this, but I came to the
I was a
same.
younger man.
But I came to the same conclusion. I just think that's interesting. Where I was like, I need to either grind on easy and then go back to that boss because they have so much HP, or just like, I don't know, beat my head against it. So I did a lot of like the random battles on easy because the boss fights were fun, but like to build your classes up. A lot like Final Fantasy Tactics, where it's like you got to put some legwork in if you want to like play with your toys, because your toys
Yeah.
do not have all their pieces off the gate. So
Yep. Cool.
I might pick this up if I see it on sale, because does it have any quality of life features worth noting that you can point out? He's dead.
He died.
He's
You don't have to do Street Pass anymore. That just kind of automatically happens online. So the village building always happens, even if your Switch is turned off.
nice.
That would be annoying if I had to street pass my Switch every time I wanted to.
Yeah, it would be. Beyond that, Willer, I genuinely can't think of anything that's like made the game a better experience. Like, it is pretty 1-to-1.
To be
it's
fair, that game had a lot of quality of life built in. Like you get to turn the encounter rate up and down. I would like an EXP slider boost kind of
that
thing.
happens. I think you get that later in the game.
You have to unlock it. Okay, that's cool still.
Yeah, I think, because I do remember in the DS version, there are moments where like I had access to an EXP slider and I was like, okay, I don't want to go any higher.
I want to see this year. I want to see you get back into Bravely Default 2 and try again.
I've been thinking about it. Like, what is the difference between this one and Bravely Default 2, and like why I'm enjoying it? The graphics quality is still there. Like, it's crazy how they ported this 3DS game and it looks better than Bravely Default 2.
That game's
because
uggo. That game is pretty uggo.
the Switch is a terrible console, man. I think it's gonna go down in history as worse than the Wii U.
No.
What?
Because-
No.
He's guys. He's sick. Please be kind to my friend. He does not know what he says.
Dude, it is blasphemy, man.
God forgive him, for he does not know what he does.
Anyway, I'm
It's my
getting
road
back
to
into the
Damascus
Brave.
moment.
I'm
Yeah.
getting back into the Brave and default system. The AI feels just like a little bit baked differently in this game than the other games. Maybe it's me just like resorting myself to the system, and it's been so long since I've played Octopath that I'm fine with it.
God, Octopath is so good gameplay wise.
It is really good, man. Like, that's the thing. So maybe I've detached enough from Octopath, which is a scary thing to say since I downloaded the demo for Octopath Traveler 0.
Let me know how that is if you ever play it.
Yeah,
I
we'll
hear
see.
that's good.
The
I
thing
think
is, like, I'm telling myself now, if I ever buy an Octopath game, I'm just not even going to try with the story. I'm going to skip every cutscene from second one and not bother, because that always becomes the thing I bitch about the most. Like, it's
The
so
2
dry.
has good story.
No, it does not. It's so dry.
Yeah, no, it has good stories, buddy.
alright.
But I will say, a lot of RPGs lately fallen into that trope that Bravely Default introduced me to in 2013, 14, I think. So it's Octopath Traveler is a Trope City, but it's a fun time and it looks good.
Trope City.
Trope City.
I mean, tropes are tropes for a reason, man. Sometimes they're just
yeah.
fucking good.
Okay,
Sometimes
that's it. I'm done talking about it.
Wait,
that way
no,
we can move on.
you had one more
Oh my
thing
God.
to talk about.
Holy fucking shit, y'all. Y'all, we're back on Harry Potter. It's 2026.
Reset the clock.
Reset the clock. Bradley, can you do me your best moaning Myrtle impression?
Oh my god.
Oh!
So
half of that peaked. We only you must have moaned real hard.
Imagine you go into a men's restroom at Harry Potter World, and there's just I'm dead.
All right, can we talk about this? Can we?
Squirting Myrtle. You seen the movie?
It is, dude. She is right there in your ear. This is a tall urinal too, buddy. This ain't a wall attachment. This is This is mid wall to floor bottom. All right, you've got a tall urinal there.
What they actually do for her moaning is they take voice recordings of the guys who took shits in there and they just pitch them up and then play them back, and that's the
Now
moaning.
that would be really funny.
That would be devastating. So I just read they removed the 0% encounter option from Bravely Default HD. That's fucking insane.
They did. It's 50% is the minimum.
All right.
I thought you were going to say 0% encounter rating in the moaning Myrtle bathroom.
Never mind to that. Okay, guys, as not a Harry Potter guy, I don't know if this is like common discourse. So stop me if you've heard this one before. If you were Harry, and that's like what you had going, and you're a teenage boy, and that's the situation you got going on in school, I would be so horny over that situation. There's just like a ghost flirting with you every time you go to the bathroom. Like that would destroy my mind as a teenage boy. Is that
if I was fucking 11 and I knew there was a girl who wanted to see me naked, I'd be going to the bathroom in there every time.
With that in context, imagine you're a person, a mere muggle. Is that what we're called?
We are muggles.
Yeah.
Like, imagine a fucking muggle going to the bathroom and a ghost starts moaning in your ear.
I bust.
Yeah, no, it was the wildest thing.
And more importantly, you're an adult ass man looking over.
Oh yeah, and we're at Universal Studios, and there's like nobody there because it's rented out, so it's just me in there.
I'm glad you had this experience, so we can continue to be the Harry Potter podcast unbroken.
Bradley, oh my god, I forgot to tell you about this.
Proud
this
of
is
us.
off the record. If we get to go again, Bradley.
Yes.
We need to make the Roundabout cast our +1s. And then we all just get to go together.
You can do
That'd
that?
be pretty badass. Yeah.
We could have done it the whole time.
Whoa. I mean, I'm sure you have other people that would like to go with you, no?
I already have permission.
Okay. Yippee.
Right.
We use other people's +1s.
Yep.
Oh, okay, I see.
I like your new profile icon, Joe.
Yeah, Joe, I was giggling over that. But before we started this podcast, I introduced Joe to a meme, and if you know it, you know it. It's, would you rather have $1 or $2?
I didn't see it till now.
and he just lost it because he said something very similar before we started. And
it also killed me that the character was named Joe Higashima or whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah, his name is Joe.
Yeah.
He's
So
do you know Preacha from City of the Wolves? She's like the nerd fighting girl. I don't know if you ever seen her.
Yeah.
He's her master. They do the same like fighting style. There you go.
Okay.
There's your lore. And he would rather have $2. That's the lore. Okay. Let's move on to the main roads. Guess what? It's under an hour. We did the average, even accounting for the recap. So I'm pretty happy with that.
We were diligent about it.
So what the hell is Rental Family? That seems like an anime, maybe?
Oh, is this the Fraser movie?
Rental Family is a Brendan Fraser movie.
Oh,
yes.
And was actually probably my favorite movie I watched last year.
Whoa.
I didn't put it in Media of the Year because I didn't want to argue about it with y'all because it's that wholesome of a movie.
Oh, fuck you, coward!
I didn't even realize it came out. I saw the trailer and was interested.
Went and watched this in theaters. I cried sitting next to Kelly. It is a very good movie. Brendan Fraser's awesome in it. It's not heartbreakingly sad, but like a happy cry sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Brendan
this poster.
Fraser plays a gaijin living in Japan. He moved there to do an acting gig and then just kept trying to act. And he ends up falling into acting as a rental person for whatever you need to rent him for.
Which is a thing. You can like rent grandpas and people to
Yeah.
like tour you around the city and go drink with you. I want to do
yeah.
some solo traveling and rent some human beings. That seems fun.
So it's a very good movie. That's all I'll say. It's very wholesome. Sit down to pay attention to it and have a good time.
Nice. That could have been an
Very
email.
quick.
That should have been
It could have been. Yeah, no, should have. It still is technically if you think about it.
Yeah, I could just pretend. I could just move it one line above the timestamp and no one will know.
Yep.
But I won't.
All right.
Because it's that wholesome. Stranger Things finished, and I'm sure you guys have heard so many good things about it.
I've heard one thing about it, and it was like, you remember when you started that passion project, and then you stopped, and like you worked on it so intently for like a long time, and then you forgot about it for like a year, and you go back and you're like,
what the fuck was I on?
No, it's just that's what I heard about it. It was
I did. So, look, I might need to. I don't know if any of y'all finished it. I never watched past season 1 of this show because I watched season 1 and I was like, that was amazing, and I just never felt the need to watch more because I felt like season 1 was a good story. So I don't know if anyone here's a big Stranger Things hit.
Well, I finished it. I watched every season. Bradley, you will watch Umbrella Academy and hate it and hate the ending. But I think you should give the Stranger Things seasons a try. All right, here's the deal. Hating on Stranger Things is the cool thing to do on the internet. It is the anti-punk rock. So I'm here to be very punk rock and tell you that Stranger Things is good, actually. And the thing is, every new season of Stranger Things that came out, everyone hated it. Season 2, everyone hated it. Season 3, everyone hated it. Season 4, everyone hated it, except that one scene. Season 5, everyone hated it. And then they will retroactively look and be like, man, what happened to the show I loved? It's like, the populace has been bitching about this show every season it's come out. You guys never liked it.
I too also know Star Wars fans.
Yes! And I think it's because a lot of people were teenagers watching this, so they like changed a lot. I too know Star Wars fans. The quality's never gone down that much. In fact, like everyone was like, "Man, season 4 was so good." While it was coming out, people were bitching about it all the time. But I digress. And now, and I was like, season 4 is the only season of Stranger Things I don't like. I thought that had like 2 to 3 really boring plot lines, and then like one goated scene where Max runs to a Kate Bush song and it's genuinely peak. I don't like that season. But Stranger Things season 1 to 3, IMO just kept getting better and better every season. Season 2 is like actually arguably my favorite, but I think 3 edges it out. And they're both better than season 1 IMO. I just think they start doing like really interesting things with the characters. But an issue arises with Stranger Things where they introduce too many characters. And it starts getting really bad because now every season has to have the Steve plotline and the Robin plotline and Dustin's girlfriend and Robin's girlfriend and Hopper and Murray and Joyce, and it's just like Jonathan and Nancy. It's like, okay, if the show the whole time focused more on the core 5 to 6 kids and then made the other characters more side characters like they were in season 1 and 2, I think it would have been a much stronger show for it. Because season 5 has a lot of problems, for sure. I don't hate it. I think it's pretty good still. Well, I don't know. There's some really good episodes. There's some things that they kind of rush through. Like, there's a breakup scene in season 5 where it's like, if someone didn't tell you that it was a breakup scene, you would walk out of that scene being like, oh yeah, they're just going through some stuff. Like, but that's like the scene for those characters. Like, it's not really well portrayed.
And yeah, like I can see too many characters killing stuff because it's happened to me before. I think a big part of why I've started and stopped Oathbringer twice is that there's a certain point in Oathbringer where I was like, I don't know, I felt like we had too many characters. But that aside, too many characters can be. It doesn't have to be a death sentence because like One Piece has more characters than literally anything,
And it
but they don't
works.
understand they're welcome. They're on screen when it is important for them to be on screen and they're relevant. You
It's
know?
like a rotating cast of who's relevant, but when you're doing a show
Yeah.
like Stranger Things, it's like this inverse pyramid where it's like every season we just have to make every relevant character have a plot line, and it dilutes the core cast by a lot.
It also helps, like in like One Piece and like that kind of media, is like you don't have to pay an actor to act that person.
Yeah, and
So-
I will say Millie Bobby Brown was not bringing it this year. But she gets a lot of hate because, like, I don't know, she's done a lot of plastic surgery, so people clown on her for that. It's like, this is supposed to be like an 18-year-old. I will also say, people care too much about characters aging in a TV show. I get that it's annoying that you have to wait like 2 or 3 years, but Stranger Things was never the greatest thing ever. Like, were you really dying every month for the next season of Stranger Things? Like, it's just not that serious, dog. Go watch some other stuff. It's okay.
When they were casting these kids for season 1, I didn't think they knew they were still going to be making the show like 10 years later.
Yeah, and
At the moment they casted them.
And yes, TV shows have too much wait time between seasons. We'll actually talk about that later this episode. That will be a theme. But like, I think people take that too seriously. It's like, whoa, look at Mike, like Finn Wolfhard. He's just like a fucking grown ass man now. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, man, get over it. I watched Jimmy McGill reverse age in a prequel show and then get older than he was since Breaking Bad, and it's fine. It's fine. It's TV. People age. It happens. So it's, I don't know. There's definitely problems with the character bloat, and I really think the main cast gets diluted. Like the Joe, how far did you watch in Stranger Things? 'Cause I would guess you're the one.
I only watched season 1 and I finished it. I was like, I don't
Okay.
feel like watching more. I didn't have. I don't. It did not hit me the same as it hit you and Bradley and everyone else. I was just like, whatever.
Yeah. Again, this is not one of my favorite shows or anything, but I think it's been solid. Like, it's always a solid 8, and like, it's always a vibe when it comes out, and I enjoy it. But people hate it every time. They introduced a character called Steve, who's a fan favorite. He's actually in season 1. He's like the bully character. He gets a redemption arc. Everyone loves Steve. Steve ends up befriending Dustin, who is like the kid that has like the thing with his mouth where he's like missing 2 of the teeth. That kind of like, that's one of the best relationships in the show, but it also breaks the show in an interesting way, where because Steve is a fan favorite, he has to get a lot of plot lines. And that means that we have to bring the other teenagers into a forefront row to be like the people he bounces off. And then he steals Dustin's relationship from the main crew. Which makes it so it's like the plot lines start getting really splintered. We never get those vibes from season 1 and 2 and partially 3 again. And it really shows this season where it's like, okay, we're just like, everyone has gone off on their own little side quests, and like, we're not. This season was supposed to bring them back together, because season 4 they were all over the place. And even then, like, they did not spend that much time together. But it was still pretty good, and like, the character Will gets a really good sequence where he unlocks some shit. Also, side note, that character has like a coming out scene in this season that is like the most undue like clowning of that I've seen in a while for a TV show, where like people are like, this is the worst thing ever, it's so poorly acted. It's fine. Actually, I'd say it's kind of well acted in the sense where it's like he's rambling in a way where it's like it's a kid that's obviously very scared to get to the point that he's building up to in that speech, because once it's out, it's never coming back. So I thought that part of it was well acted. The thing
What I'm getting is that Stranger Things is Willer's avatar. He's like, actually, it is good.
It's the most popular thing on the planet, like just like Avatar as well. So I don't know. I guess it is. But like the thing that does take away from that scene is that instead of him coming out to his like close 5 friends, his mom and his brother, it is literally the entire cast in a hospital room with him, and it's like, you people don't have a relationship with this kid. Why are you here? Like, go save the world. Let him do his thing. So, you know, it's got that issue, but like I think the things people clown on that scene more often are really not great. Also, the main action, like they beat the final boss very easily, but it's like whatever. I don't really care about the action sequences in these later seasons too much. This is probably the weakest season overall. It's this or 4. I think I probably like it more than 4. But what I will give this season is that the ending I think is genuinely perfect. And I think this is so funny because people have created this conspiracy theory that there was supposed to be a bonus episode. It's like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? And I would like to break down why this happens. The core point here is that the media literacy of people who watch Stranger Things is so bad. It is like laughably bad because you see the things that people call like plot holes or complain about in discussions. It's like, oh, I'm actually talking, or not, I don't talk to them, I just read. I am reading like 13-year-olds discover media literacy and I should just not read because my brain cells are going to hurt from doing
It's
this.
a canon event.
With some things, I have to remember, like, when I'm reading, like, one of our fucking web serials, I'm like, okay, there's only, like, 5,000 other people out there who've read this. But then when it's something like Stranger Things and it's, like, 25 million other people are out there watching it, I'm like, okay, there's gonna be a lot of opinions out there.
There's going to be a lot of, like, people who don't think too much about media. So the ending has, like, after they beat the final boss very easily, about, like, 30 to 40 minutes of the episode is an extended epilogue, and they nail every single part of that epilogue, and it's like, fuck, this is what's been missing since season 3. It's like, we're not going, we're not quipping at each other, we're like sitting down, we're having like emotional beats, we're like the characters are talking, it's slow paced, it's what's been missing. We're wrapping up every storyline. The final scene is like the kids' final D&D game before they go off to college and stuff. And Mike is like the DM, and he's like kind of like telling a story of what happens to each character after the journey, and it's supposed to parallel like what's going to happen to the kids, and it has like a flash forward to all their lives as they go off to the world, and it's perfect. It's really good. The characters are crying, but it's really like the actors are losing it, and they just kind of like play into it. It's really awesome. And then he ends with like, this is a spoilers for Stranger Things season 5. I don't think you guys are gonna care. This is the big controversy.
Just do it.
If anything, this might interest you. After they beat the final boss, but before they get back to the real world, the government stops them at like a checkpoint, and then the Upside Down is like imploding on itself, and 11 comes up to like the threshold, and she just stands there and lets herself die, so that they stop like hunting her down and stop trying to make like these scientific experiments and stop bothering the kids and whatnot, right?
Okay.
11 has a sister that can do long range like illusion telepathy, and Mike posits that it's like they're like, what? So it's a shame that he's like, there's one story that I can't tell anyone, as he's like telling these stories of like how everyone's stories ended, and he tells the story of the mage, which is 11, and how she and her sister constructed that scene to fake her death basically, and then basically like he can't know that for sure, but that's what he chooses to believe, and then all the other characters are like, I believe it too, and then you also see like a scene of 11 walking through Iceland, so like she's probably alive, but she's maybe not alive, and that's the big controversy. They don't tell you exactly if she's alive. And people lose it at that. They're like, wait, I have to make my own conclusion and look into the themes of the story, and it's not spoon-fed to me. And because of that, they were confident that the entire final episode was like an illusion because the main villain died too easily, and it was all like a mind trick, and we're going to get the real finale uploaded like the Friday after. I was like, oh, you guys just don't know how to read stories. Okay, fair enough. And it became this whole thing, and yeah, I think this is what happens when a show is too popular. But
true.
Ultimately, I think it's a pretty like, she's obviously alive in my mind, and if she's not alive in your mind, like that's fine. That's what the story is. It's like, do you believe in the storytelling here? And it's like 101 of like a thematic ending, but like it just really went over people's heads, and they did not like it. But Stranger Things good. Not the best thing in the world, but pretty good.
You heard it here first. Stranger Things good, and you might not hear it anywhere else, but you did hear it here first.
These days, that's punk rock. Now let's talk about a show that is genuinely good, in my opinion, but we're gonna find out for sure. Joe's been watching Lost season 1, but he's 2 episodes from finishing it. I just wanted a quick check-in on what you're thinking of Lost so far, because hold on, real quick. This is what I recommended Joe to read. I was supposed to mention it at the media of the year, and then we finished it. And we went downstairs while we're hanging out. It's like, oh, Wheeler, you forgot to tell me what I'm supposed to watch. It's like, right. It was Lost.
Yeah, so I've been watching Lost as like my painting show. I would say, I think Lost is really good television. I would say.
I would also say this.
Joe, do you know about Lost?
I do know about Lost. My parents watched it religiously the entire time. I know the ending of Lost as well.
About a year ago,
Okay.
Emmy watched. Yeah. I don't know if we fully finished season 1. We got a few episodes into it, and we really liked it. I think what stopped me going was apprehension because of all the horrible things I hear about what comes later on. But I also know Willer, who does not say those horrible things.
I would not lead you astray. Lost gets better every season.
And it was what we watched was good. So
I liked it. I liked it when it was about smoke and polar bears.
It is, but that's the beauty. It's always about smoke and polar bears, especially smoke.
So I would say, when it comes to like, I think the characterization of the show is really good.
That's always been the strength. Fuck the mystery.
Yeah.
To me, it's a show about the characters.
If that's actually my biggest like negative to the show, and like I think that's also one of the things that's like freeing about the show as well, because I know what the end is, and I know what like it like. I know what the ending is.
You know what, like you know what it is, like for sure. You don't tell me right now. But
yes, okay. I know it is for sure. I don't know the full details of it. Right.
Cool. Okay.
So it's like
I will just tell you right now, they are not dead. That is the biggest misconception. They're not dead.
So, anyways, but the point of that being is that like I've kind of just ignored the mystery part of it. That's the thing. I've just been like, whatever, and instead
there are cool answers to a lot of the mysteries. For a lot of the mysteries, they're just there for fun, for shits and gigs.
And I think a lot of it too is also just there for very strong metaphorical purposes.
Yes.
Well.
You're in good hands.
Like,
you're already better off than anyone else who watched this show.
Yes.
You're fine.
So it's like it's the one that I can think of right now that like maybe gets answered later, maybe it does not, but is with Jack's. Every character in the show has like 1 or 2 episodes in the first season, and Jack's episode where you kind of find out why he's on the plane, right?
Yeah, I love that review.
And then he goes and finds the thing, and the thing is not there anymore, and he's been seeing it like around the island, but it keeps disappearing, right?
That's a pretty prominent one. That they definitely go back to this one actually.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like if it was just like not there anymore, it's like, okay, I get it, right? Like I kind of get the aspect of Jack's character and what he's feeling.
It's mostly about his dynamic with his dad, which is excellent.
Yeah. Yes. I would also say like, so I like that. I'd also say that I really like the theming so far. That like, and this is a bit cheesy, but like the loss is not only them being lost on the island, but like morally lost in who they are in their lives. I would say
I would phrase it like they were lost before they got to the island, and that is that is like a thing for almost every character.
That's what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like because you have. So I'm going to forget a lot of their names because I just cannot remember them because there's like 12 characters.
You
or
could
something
just
like
say
that.
the Korean guy or the black guy, and you'll be okay. I'll forgive you.
I am going to say that. But like
Jin,
like,
Jin and Michael, mind you.
So Michael
like is tough. He's tough to like.
The black guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I like him a lot.
Okay, I feel like he's a character that's very atypical for a character you're supposed to like because he's very frustrated at the situation.
Yes, I really like his backstory a lot. I thought that was a great that's a very different story for that type of character, especially when they frame it originally.
For sure, for sure. So, Lost is a show that came out in 2006. and it really
Yes.
shows where it's really preying on like some cultural insecurities of that era. You got the Arab guy who's literally from a not a
Sayed.
terrorist army, but like a
He's from the he's from the Republic's army or something like that.
basically who we were fighting in the Gulf War. Yeah,
Yes.
there's even a good scene where Hurley's like, "Oh, cool, what division? My dad was in this or whatever." He's like, I was actually the other guys, which is awesome.
Yes.
Saeed is also like a fantastic character. You got the black guy who's got like
Michael.
issues with the child. Well, I'm framing it as like the trope. You got like abusive Asian husband and demure Asian wife. Like,
I remember them.
a lot of others. It's a story about like collecting all these others that are not always comfortable with one another. You got the druggie, which I also love Charlie. Like it's got a lot of the tropes of the era.
So me and Willer watch Cosmonaut Marcus, and he makes a lot of Lost references in his videos, and I've never understood them because he'd be like Kate from Lost. I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about.
I don't even know her name because she's Kate from Lost. It's like Evangeline Lilly or whatever.
Yes, and I'm just like, who? And like when he's in the there's a part where he mentions Charlie from Lost, and it's in like his Lord of the Rings video, and I was just like, who is he talking about?
You mean Pippin? No, or Mary? I forgot.
He's Mary.
He's Mary.
He's Mary. I didn't know who they were talking about. I was like, whatever. So it's also really funny because very definitely like Lost is a very influential show culturally. Like you can really see it in a lot of like modern TV shows.
In my opinion, there's like this through line of TV shows of like Twin Peaks, Sopranos, Lost, Mad Men, and then that reaches into like the Breaking Bads, and then it all burst out from there.
Yeah, I had a really good example of like because like Lost exemplifies like I can't think of another show before Lost. And granted, there's not a lot of shows pre 2000 that I've watched that really do the
flashback,
multi-character flashback, right? Yeah. And like I think Lost like really solidified itself, and I think that was the other thing I was very hesitant about Lost is like. Sometimes I feel like when you use a flashback, you're kind of like, why are you writing the story about them being on an island when you are more interested in showing who these characters are? And you could have made a different story based off of that. But I think season 1 is doing a really great job of like justifying like, all right, here are all these characters, how they're like slightly interconnected, but thematically very connected.
Yes.
Right.
And I think it's super good at. Again, like it's I've always loved the show's themes and the character dynamics and stuff like that. And they from season 1 they're already nailing it. What do you think of Locke? Which, by the way,
Locke,
did you know that the Nuzlocke challenge is named after this character?
Oh, really? I did not know
because in the Nuzlocke challenge, the guy who was writing the original comics was a big Lost fan, so he would name the characters after Lost characters sometimes, and then he had a C dot called Locke, and the C dot when he's a Nuzleaf dies, and he looks at the main character and like drops a fire like Locke line and then dies, and that is the name of the entire Nuzlocke challenge. People don't even know that these days anymore.
I knew it was named after the Pokemon that was named Locke. I didn't realize it was like
it's called the Nuzleaf, Nuzlocke.
Right, that's what I mean. Like it was a Nuzleaf that was named Locke. Like I knew that. I didn't know it was named after Locke from Lost. Is what I mean.
I have some things in midcast chat you to look at later.
I would say right now, Locke is my favorite character.
Yeah, that's accurate. He's so good.
It's like
he's also such a weird asshole. he's just going on his walkabout, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and that episode itself is like Bradley. You should like watch that episode, and I think that would really hook you.
It's literally episode 4. I think it's impossible not to be at least partially interested in Lost by episode 4.
Yeah,
I think the way they do that reveal is so excellent.
It's great, and I totally get him. He wants to be him and thinks that he could be,
and this is the place where he can be.
Yes, and
he's potential man.
Yes. So I really, really like him. I would say like Jack is actually kind of further on the bottom of my tier list of like characters that I like.
Jack is by far my favorite character, but the thing is, it's because there are 6 seasons of this show, and there's a lot of places we can still go with the character. So
yeah. And then like I think right above him would be probably Kate. Kate's
I,
another one that
Kate in my rewatch, which I need to catch up to you. Kate is sneaky good in my opinion. I think she's so interesting. She's just like that archetype of the woman who brings misfortune no matter where she goes, and
right.
she's
And
really
like
good at it.
I think that's fine. I
I think
just
the only thing with season 1 is like the little love triangle between her and Sawyer is like pretty cliche. But
I think
it's
also
whatever.
like there's too much. There's already enough mystery going on the island, and then she herself is like mystery woman in her flashbacks,
Yeah.
right? So it's like a hat on a hat kind of a situation, and I'm kind of over it if I'm being honest.
We love hats.
Yeah, but it's alright. Sawyer I really like as
Sawyer's
well.
great. Sawyer's so
I'm
fucking. He's so fucking funny, dude. Like.
Yeah, he's so funny. I just finished his second episode where he goes and confronts that
the guy who that didn't go so well.
Yeah, that's a really good episode. I'm trying to think who else. There's the Asian couple. I'm on the second to last episode, which is focused mainly on the man portion of that couple.
That was really important because you get the females portion, like the.
Yes.
Obviously, that paints him more badly.
Negatively.
Yeah.
And I think done well, like those kind of perspective skews are really good. Like that's why I like really about, like, controversially, I like the way Vinland Saga starts in the manga more than the anime because it paints a picture of a character very differently, and you have like it forces you, the audience member, to kind of re-justify and rethink about how you think about a character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like halfway through like the season, essentially. So I kind of like that when the show really like forces you to like think about different perspectives of people. Same with like Michael, right? Like everyone knows, like people just think Michael's like a deadbeat dad who is coming to pick up his kid from Australia, and then you find out a lot more about him. A lot,
incredibly selfless, actually.
Yes, like one of the most selfless people on there. I'm trying to think of who else is it.
There's
Charlie.
Hurley.
Charlie, I really like. Hurley is right now just kind of the comic relief character, but it's fine.
Do you know what his deal is?
No, that's the last episode. That's the only thing I know about the last episode.
Fuck yeah. Okay, cool. Hurley's great.
Yeah. So it's like cool, great. I really like the episode where he makes the golf course and everyone has a recreations day.
They needed that. That's the thing. Like, TV shows used to be 20 episodes, an hour long, and they would have time to breathe. And, you know, I think that's really good. I like when TV shows breathe and let you like kind of enjoy the characters and the scenery a little bit.
Yeah, and then there's what's the pregnant lady called?
Claire. She's cool.
Claire, the only Australian on the Australian flight. I really like her. I found out like halfway through the season she plays Belle in Once Upon a Time, which is like my guilty pleasure show that I will watch every once in a while.
Oh, nice.
Just as like a talk about like trash TV, but it's like that fun like soap opera-y like fantasy trash that I kind of just like watch because it's stupid and dumb, right? But I like her in that show. I really like her in this show as well. I'm glad that she has like a little bit more of a serious role compared to it. And Once Upon a Time, she's like a joke because she gets amnesia like 3 or 4 times, and then like halfway through the season, she gets amnesia in this show. Like, God damn it,
it's pretty good.
Yeah. But anyways, I think the biggest thing is that I really like how they've characterized the island. Like the island itself is its own character. I think they do a really good job of just like making the island feel like a person, and like that's really hard to do. And I really do not like survival stories, but I think like the way they're doing the island is really, really good. I really like it's like small things, and it's the way the camera operates. Like for example, the pigs, they don't really shore the boars a lot. Like actually, it's a lot of like just above them, and you see people chasing them or they're crashing through stuff.
Which is of course like a budget thing, but they lean into that to do storytelling.
Yeah, it's a very Jaws-like quality to it. And I think that's really, really good. As well as like the monster that no one sees, which I assume is the smoke monster that will happen later. And then of course like all the other weird shit that's happening throughout the island. We got through the arc where they find a guy and they don't know who this guy is, and he's causing a lot of trouble. So that was like the last kind of like arc of the show that I finished, but I'm in the last 2 episodes, so I'm gonna see where that goes. But I'm enjoying Lost a lot more than I thought I was going to be enjoying it. I would also say though, like Lost isn't great television, but it's still giving me a lot to like chew on in terms of like watching it.
Like I said, literally, I think every season gets better than the last.
Mm-hmm.
Like controversially, season 6 is my favorite. And it's got a. What
I was wrong.
You're looking at the most lost. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
I'm glad you're
funny.
enjoying it. And the season finales of Lost are always really fucking good, as I recall.
Yeah.
So you're in for it now. And season 2 is like such a big improvement on 1. So if you're liking it already, I think you got some good stuff ahead of you.
Okay.
Cool. That's a shame that we got to skip Bradley temporarily because I had to go pee as well. And I think we should do this thing with him. You know what? I'm gonna do my Warriors brain rot. I'm gonna jump off of here.
Yay.
I've been playing a lot of Warriors games, which are also known as Muso games. They're the games where you beat up 1,000 dudes with characters. And I talked about Warriors Abyss in the media of the year, and it kind of spiraled me into like, okay, Pirate Warriors DLC is coming out. I want to play some of that. Oh man, these characters are really fun, and there's more characters coming out like in 3 days. That's pretty cool. Let's boot up Hyrule Warriors. That's a really good game. Oh shit, this game is impossibly big. It is no one can finish that game. I will never in my life finish Hyrule Warriors. And not from a lack of trying, because I will go back to it every once in a while. It's just impossible. There's just too much content. And
No one has ever beaten that game in the history of gaming.
It's just not possible. And I will try my best with the fleeting time I have in this mortal coil. It's like, well, damn, these Nintendo ones are pretty cool because what they do is they allow you to place multiple characters on the map and then send them out on missions and control them RTS style and then swap between them. So even though like they might not have as cool movesets as the One Piece characters, the fact that I can bring multiple movesets to a fight and bounce between them is really fun. The Fire Emblem games also have that, and I hear they're pretty good too. So lo and behold, I end up buying the Fire Emblem games, and now and then I'm like, fuck, I know all these characters from the actual mainline Warriors games. Let me buy Warriors Orochi 4, which has 174 characters to play. So I'm just way too deep, and the only way I can express that is with lists, as I always do. So I made a tier list of my takes, and I will probably like have this as part of the video. And this is my tier list of all the Warriors games I have played in my life, which now is 10, which is a good sample size.
Oh yeah.
And I will read it out for audio people. I will say the not interested tier, you got the Berserk and One Piece Pirate Warriors 1. And then I do want to check out the Breath of the Wild Warriors game, not the Tears of the Kingdom one, because that one has whack-ass characters, but I hear that the other Hyrule Warriors is still really good. Then there's like a RPG-ish Dragon Quest one. That seems kind of fun. And then starts the actual tier list. Persona 5 Scramble Strikers. What's it called? Strikers.
Well,
Pretty fun. Very RPG focused, but there's only 9 characters. Then you got Warriors Origin, which I played last year but did not make the cut for Media of the Year. What this one does well is like you really feel like you're in a battlefield. There are so many fucking dudes on the screen.
Oh, and like and you gotta like breach sieges. I've also played that game.
This game's kind of sick. So. In my hierarchy of needs, which I have above in the tier list, I need a lot of movesets and good combat. This one has combat, but not the movesets. Then I need a lot of content. Then I need some strategy and some systems. I think this one, I mean, you're only one guy and you have like 11 weapons. So you got like 11 movesets total.
I think it would go up because I agree with you if I could replay missions or there was another free play mode where I got to play as the other characters, because you do get to play as the other characters, but like through like a special like switch system.
But that special switch system, they're still just using the same weapons you can.
Right.
So it's the same moveset. They're just like really good while you're controlling them, which leads us into the game where you can play all those other characters, which is Warriors Orochi 4. So the Orochi series takes Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, 2 series I've never played, it's the asset dump, puts them all into the same game, and I only know these characters because I played Warriors Abyss last year, but the bottom line is 174 characters really meets my moveset need of having like just a lot of shit to play with. And boy does it. And this one's interesting where like you bring 3 of them into a battle and you're not controlling them like the same way as the Nintendo ones, but you can't swap between them like freestyle. So you do like tag combos and stuff. So it's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I will play more of it. Then you got Pyro Warriors 2, which was my first of any of these games. Really good, but completely obsoleted by Pyro Warriors 3, which is just Pyro Warriors 2, but better. Really good content. Some characters that are not even in 4, so there's actually like a good reason to go back to this one at times. Then you got the 2 Fire Emblem ones that I've been playing lately, and I talked Joe into getting 3 Hopes as well.
Mm-hmm.
These are really fun, man. I'm actually very impressed by these 2 games.
I think they're really fun too. I'm also impressed.
The difference between them is Fire Emblem Warriors, the original, is a Warriors game with Fire Emblem mechanics. So you got the weapon triangle, you got controlling the character's strategy style, but the movesets are very like every character has like their own unique movesets. I think there's 24 unique movesets in this. But they feel a lot more flashy than the other game, which is 3 Hopes, which is just the 3 Houses cast. But this one is straight up a Fire Emblem game with Warriors mechanics. So it's the opposite. Where like, this really feels like I'm playing Fire Emblem because I'm doing so much camp management. I'm like changing all their equipment. The equipment stuff is really important. You have to pair them up, and like they can teach each other moves by pairing them up. There's weapon durability to do your specials. There's so much strategy in like I'm not. This isn't a 4X game, but I'm having to constantly micromanage my dudes. But it's really fun. But I think we're like, it might be lacking in content because you have your three houses like storylines you can do, and it's like an alternate take where if Byleth was not in the picture for a majority of the story, which is actually kind of an interesting way to do it, where you get to see different sides of some of these characters a little bit. But also reminds me how much I like the 3 Houses cast. Like those are just really good little fantasy anime kids, in my opinion. They're very lovable. I love my Blue Lions, especially. That's a good crew. But yeah, there's just like a lot of strategy. I will say the movesets are a little less hyper than the other games, but it makes up for it with like there's like over 60 characters, and you can put them into 24 different like class movesets. Which is really fun. But then each of those characters have like 2 unique things to them that like, okay, this character when made an archer can do things that no other character can do just by like little micro synergies. So got a lot going for it, but I like the pure experience of that first Fire Emblem game a little bit more. And then I've talked a lot about my S tiers here. You got Hyrule Warriors, which has... This game still delivers. I've been playing it recently. The movesets are insane. Like, they get so weird. Like, one of the movesets is Link using the rod that controls trains from... this is Toon Link. And he's got, like, a normal sword...
Spirit Tracks.
Yeah, and then he's got, like, a Spirit Tracks move list. And then you have Toon Zelda, which is her, like, Phantom Hourglass piloting, like, a night suit as a mech. And then you have Midna, and then also Twilight Midna that play completely different. You got Link on a spinner. Like, he's just riding the spinner from Twilight Princess. It's insane. Like, they're so creative. I think, like, it doesn't feel as good as Pyro Warriors 4, which is why I give the edge to it. But Pyro Warriors 4 is a content issue where it's like, there's just not... Like, you outpower the game so hard once you get all the DLC, where you have to, like, remove skills from yourself to not melt the entire game. Meanwhile... Hyrule Warriors, as I mentioned, has more content than is feasible to complete in a lifetime. So, really good. And then Warriors Abyss is my fucking roguelike slop. Also has an insane roster of characters of like 120. They're all free. They're still coming out with new ones. They're coming out with new modes. This game's fucking peak. And that is my Warriors brain rot.
Yeah.
You talk about your Warrior slop, Willer.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a hard time trying to tell you all what best game of the year is this year.
You've already played it. It's January 14th.
What?
You've already played your best game of the year on January 14th?
No, I just know what the top 2 games of this year are.
It's going to be Dungeon Crawler Carl Warriors.
I would play that. I would so play.
That would be a good game.
I think the takeaway is like, if I see a Warriors game coming out with a IP that I'm mildly interested in, I have faith that it's gonna be at least a C+ tier. They don't miss. Like, these games they're all very different from each other too. Aside from being like the same core, they all have like different things. What are the two games you're talking about? I'm curious, sir.
Sorrows
Okay, I'm with you.
and Slay the Spire 2.
You know what's weird about this year? I don't know what's coming out. What's like the big release? Because I'm with you. I could definitely see those being the best games this year.
Yeah.
Do we know anything?
I think GTA.
There's a new Fire Emblem, but I don't know if I'm gonna get that. I'm more of GTA is probably not coming out this year. I must keep it real with you, dog.
I can't think of any game. I know there are games that I like, but I don't think any games that I will like say are gonna be like Dawn of War 4 comes out, which is just that's a Joe game. That's Warhammer 40,000 RTS.
I have nothing to look forward to, which is why I've been watching TV shows again. I'm like, finally, I can get back to my other hobbies.
Oh, we got Resident Evil 9.
Yeah, but like Resident Evil, like, we love it. It's always high ranking, but it's never going to be like the best thing I played of a year. So
I mean, you never know.
I never know. It's true. Like RE8 and 4 are really good.
4 is so good.
But it's like I will say this. I'm usually more excited for games by this. I'm like, oh, the next 6 months are gonna be crazy. Like Death Stranding 2 and fucking Hades 2 are coming out. But like, I got nothing, dog. I got no horse in this race.
I got 007 First Light, but once again, I just think that's gonna be a me game that only I will enjoy, and I think every other person on the planet's gonna hate it. So
the game I'm looking most forward to is a game that's been delayed 2 years now. It's called Deca Police. It is a level 5, which does the Professor Layton games. They're very AI pilled right now, so that's a bother.
That's a bummer.
But I still have faith. Deca Police is this cool little detective story RPG, which is very up my alley. And I've been waiting for that for a while, but that's the only thing I can think of.
There's also Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, which is actually just Lego Arkham Asylum, from what I hear.
But like, that's not the one. I think it is. I think Soros is looking pretty good, Tyler.
Yeah,
looking pretty good. All right, I'm gonna pass the baton over to the SOMA plus Eternal Darkness Spooky Hour.
Ooh! All right. So last year, I put a gun on the table and pointed to all of us, including me. Especially me. I gave everyone the game to play. Everyone did their homework fantastically, and then I also did my homework. I did complete these before I did our Media of the Year chat. I just didn't put them on there. I just didn't put them on there because I kind of wanted more briefing than to talk about it. If I'm being honest, I didn't
more to talk about it, and also like we were loaded up as it was.
Yeah, I don't think they were, unless they were like your top 5 things you experienced of the year. They're too old, I think, to make the cut, because that list was cutthroat.
I would agree. We're gonna start with SOMA. Bradley.
Actually, it's good that I step away because I don't want spoilers. I still need to play this.
Because this is Frictional Games' game, like one game that is not the Amnesia series, basically.
Yeah. Well, it was, and now they're making another one.
Yeah. They recently, I think, updated this game, and there was like an ARG, and then they just officially announced another game in this one's universe, which a lot of people were very happy about, because if you go, Frictional Games has had a very successful run, even if not all of their games are like 10 out of 10 great. I think Amnesia caught on very early on into the indie horror game space. But if you were to go look at all of their store pages, I think SOMA by far is the most well-received one, just going by reviews.
Yeah, I agree. And like, okay, so I will say, Bradley, is I don't like these types of games. I think they are very, I don't want to say boring, but I just don't think they're engaging in terms of gameplay.
No, playing a Frictional Games horror game is very different than playing like Resident Evil, because like you don't have a gun or anything. Like there are monsters, but you have no ability to like interact with the environment against them.
And that could be a good thing or a bad thing if depending on like the like tools you are given. I feel like in SOMA you're not given a lot of tools to like interact with your enemies or with your environment. Like the main thing you have is you can pick up something you can throw and that can distract somebody, right? And even then, that's kind of like a whatever. Like you might as well just uh like walk around the guy, right? Unless I
Which,
am
like,
missing
you
something.
kind of wish you could walk around the guy sometimes. And I brought this up with
Yeah,
Silent Hill 2, where I was like, man, after playing so many horror games, I feel like a lot of horror games are unnecessarily padded out with monster
yeah,
encounters, which you kind of have to do for some of these to prevent them from being like a 3 hour game.
yeah,
But, at least in Silent Hill 2, you have kind of that ability to interact and fight. I
yeah,
will say, as much as I love Soma, because the primary reason I like it is the story. As far as like monster encounters, even when this game came out, within that first year, by far the most popular mod was one that keeps the monsters in the game. They just can't kill you. And
That's
it ended up being so popular the devs actually just put the mod into the game. You can just turn it on that the
yeah.
monsters can't
That
kill you.
was you can. It's just now a setting where it's just like story mode, where like it comes in and everything. That being said, I really like the atmosphere. I liked it a lot. I like once again, I have played a horror game from you and Willer, and I've just completely missed on what the landscape was going to be like.
It was funny. Really, pretty shortly after you had announced you started playing Soma, I think a week or two later on Discord, you were like, "Man, I really miss BioShock," and I didn't think much of it. And then I started replaying Soma because I knew you were going through it. And while I was
Yeah,
playing it, I was like, "Man, I really miss BioShock," and I was like, "Huh, I wonder if that's why Joe said that."
100% why I said that. I was just like, man, it's a good fucking game. So where was I going with this? Oh, right. I really like the atmosphere of the game a lot, and I think that's the big thing that kept me around was that I really like the exploration portion of like figuring out like where I was, who I was talking to, and like kind of figuring out what happened in this like research facility. I also really like the theme of the game. I won't get into it too much, but like I really really like the idea of like the existentialism of like what goes beyond and what you leave behind, right? Like
Yeah.
the idea of like what is my life compared to the next one, and like does this one matter for the next, and everything there. Um, I also watched Mandalore's video after I finished the game. Like legitimately, I finished the game and I went and watched Mandalore's video.
Amazing timing of that video going
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I was like that really kickstarted me. It's like I gotta beat this game now because I like his videos a lot.
Mandalore's
Um,
great.
yeah, and so we I don't know. I just really, really enjoyed the game. I really like the story, and I don't think there's a lot to like really unpack with it as has been unpacked before. And I think it's just a really solid idea of like who are you and where are you and yada yada. But there's a
Yeah,
lot of like
like who counts as you, right? You were talking
yes,
about that existentialism aspect, and there's this moment where Simon, who at this point is the third Simon you have played as in this game, but he considers himself the first Simon. He has a
yeah,
very hard time getting through that mental block.
yeah,
You're playing as now at this point the third Simon, and he's going down that elevator into the abyss with Catherine, and he's having this big monologue of just when I go up to heaven, is there already a Simon up there who took my place? And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's just freaking out. And I think going back through it this time, which is I've gone through this game so many times at this point, I think the atmosphere of the game is great, but I really just like Simon and Catherine's different perspectives on this whole issue because
Yeah,
Simon just can't get it.
yeah,
He has it explained to him in the most unambiguous terms over and over and over about
hmm,
like Simon, there is no moving your brain from one body to the next. It's copy paste, and
yeah,
he does not get it until the last scene because he constantly brings up this metaphor of the coin flip throughout
yeah,
the entire game. You're flipping the coin. Do you end up in the original body or do you end up in the second one?
hmm,
And it is not until the very first time that he is on the bad side of the coin flip that he gets it.
yeah,
Catherine's tried to explain this to him a million times. In
yeah,
the instant he is on the losing side of the coin flip, he's like, they are not us.
yes.
Was such an amazing moment of the game for me. And I was
And
also really, yeah, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, like, I think the only thing about that is I really wish we got to explore more of that dichotomy afterwards. The
Yeah.
game already went for so long at that point, right? Um, so like we do it for a little bit, right? But then like we don't go to like really have that conversation with like those other selves as well as like the ones back home. And it's like it's also like horrifying to be in Simon's situation, right? Like to be where he ends up.
Oh, dude, I'd be paralyzed by fear
I
just
it's
from
like
realizing where I am.
I would not know what to do with myself. Like the worst outcome that could possibly happen. And also, Bradley, how come we end up playing stuff where like the theme is always sometimes death is better?
Sometimes
Like,
that is better.
yeah, like why does this keep being a like a
It's just
reoccurring thing?
I don't know. I guess we just get drawn to it.
I guess
Um,
so. I'm not complaining. It's just I finished the game. I was like, why does this keep happening?
it's a funny observation, but no,
Yeah,
Simon's interesting, and this time around especially, I was way more focused on Catherine.
yeah. I really latched on to her for two reasons. One is that like her voice acting, I felt was at times really good and times really bad, and I couldn't tell if it was on purpose or not.
I did like having a fully voice acted game, and
Oh, was it
like
not voice acted before?
not all of their games are fully voice acted. I think Soma was notable for how the fact that it was like fully voice acted.
Got it. Okay.
Um, and Catherine's really fun because I found that in horror games, having a companion is really, really nice, even if, you know,
Yes.
something eventually ends up happening to them. Because, like, in Silent Hill 2, Maria is like, what the fuck, Maria? But whenever she's around, I'm like, at least I'm not alone. And Catherine's kind of a good
It,
feeling of that.
and it's that's really hard to balance because like you want to give the player someone that is talking to them, right? That gives them kind of like a sense of normality, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like they have some like additional connection to have. Like in BioShock, you have Atlas who's talking to you the entire time and like telling you where to go and explaining stuff in the city. Even though you don't hear from the main character, you as the player are at least like hearing someone. So there's a little bit
Yeah.
of comfort in that, but there's also times where like that gets cut off, and that adds to the tension, right? Because as soon as like I definitely felt more tense whenever I didn't have Catherine in my ear. And I think
Yeah.
that's a big success on the horror aspect of the game, right?
And you were talking about how scary it is to be in Simon's position. It's scary for her, too, because,
Yeah.
like she said, this entire game, there's no break in the stream of consciousness for her. If she's unplugged for 1 minute or 1 year, she would not
Yeah.
know the difference. And so to her, she goes from meeting Simon to that darkness at the very end, all in the span of like a couple hours,
Yeah.
which is
Oh
kind
man.
of crazy.
Oh man. God, what was I? I'm trying to think. There was a game that I was playing recently that I was laughing because it turns out it just basically was Soma.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was, but I just remember thinking to myself, like, yeah, that's really, really true. Now I might have also dreamt that, but because I've been having some weird dreams lately. Um,
you'll remember it.
yeah, I'll remember it eventually. But I really like Soma a lot,
Yeah,
and I think Catherine's a really interesting character. I really like also, I I also like the coming back and finding certain people and other versions of those people as well. There's a lot more we can discuss into here, but like
yeah.
I want to save it more for Willer when he plays it because I think he'll have a lot of interesting thoughts to say.
Yeah, because like you mentioned all these alternate versions of people, and there's a lot that could be said, but I don't need to right now. The only other
Yeah,
thing I want to talk about is like, I guess just the way Catherine contrasts Simon, because we talked about how like he
yeah,
just doesn't, he
he doesn't get
doesn't
it.
get it, and I think Catherine. I honestly, my first couple times through the game, I just kind of loved her with no negatives. And I still love her as a character, but I've kind of started to realize like the aspects of her personality that harm her and others. Because while Simon doesn't get it, I think Catherine is just a little too.
Catherine
She's a little too okay with all this.
Catherine also doesn't make an effort to like really explain to Simon like this is what's happening.
I think too.
She doesn't. And part of me is like, to her, it's just so obvious and just so natural to how all this works.
Yeah.
She's like, you're copy pasting your personality. There's two of you. Like when she wakes up, she's like, yeah, there's probably another Catherine out there right now. She's probably down on the ocean floor.
Yeah,
and
she's yeah.
like
She's
it's
10%
nothing to
her.
her. And
Yeah.
so she doesn't explain it to Simon because number one, I mean, to her it just makes sense, but also I think part of what is scary about her experience is how emotional Simon is. Whenever we get to what the climax of the game could be considered the end, I consider the climax at Omicron when you go from one body to the other. And Simon's like, how could you not tell me this would happen? And he's freaking out. And she kind of has a very guarded, like, no, you knew how that's how it was going to work.
That's the I think the point of the story where you as the audience member are like, oh, I know, like it's the part for the audience, the clue is like, this is like, what's going to happen at the very end.
And
you
my read,
yeah.
and I haven't always read it this way. The way I read it now is that I think Catherine 100% knew that Simon did not understand how it worked, but she's like, if I explain it to him, he's gonna have another fucking freak out, and he's not gonna want to do the body switch, and he's not gonna want to go down there and launch the arc, and then it's gonna be a whole big fucking thing where I have to comfort him, and we might not even go down there at all. So I think she just deliberately doesn't try to explain it to him again, so he'll just do it.
Yeah, and I agree, and they're two great characters. They're because they're so complicated, and like it doesn't help with the fact that like Simon literally has brain damage, right? So he's not all the way there.
I think the best contrast to how they view this whole mind copy pasting thing, I think, is when you're having to repeatedly over and over start up the simulation of this guy to get a password out of him, and he keeps freaking out and almost having a fucking virtual heart attack over the fact that he's starting and stopping and knows he's not real. And Simon is like, Catherine, what? This is so fucked. And her reaction is like, yeah, no, it's not working. Let's try loading him into a different environment. And it's like, that is not what Simon meant.
Yeah. And like, it's also like, he just keeps forgetting too. Like it's like a full reboot, right? Because it's like you don't save essentially. It's a lot more complexities about like who is the self, right? And I think it's really, really cool of a game. I will say that like I probably will not play other frictional games that they have made.
This is the best. If you're gonna go for only one out of their catalog, I think this is the one to go for.
I won't play other ones, but I do think I will play the new one that they announced at the Game Awards because it's in that same universe. It's got fucking Luthen from Andor,
which is cool.
Which is cool, and I thought really funny considering this year that he gets announced as a character in that game. I play so many. You watch Andor and Star Wars.
But yeah, this game, I like. There's no themes that are explored in this game that haven't already been explored a million times in other sci-fi. But as far as horror games go, I think this is like, for the amount of hours you put into it, I think you get a good story.
Yeah, I kind of ended up doing like a breakpoint, like right at the time where like I finished all the dumb bullshit like padding, and so the rest of it was pretty gas at that point, which was really nice.
Yeah.
The other part of the game that I was kind of disappointed in was with the Whammoo or whatever it's called.
The WoW. So the WoW itself, I thought was fine. I think the only part of the game where they clearly wanted me to think something was more interesting than it was that guy who was like tied to the WoW.
Yes, I agree. And
like WoW was just a set piece, I think is cool, but then this whole plot line they introduced with him, I was like, okay.
It felt like not a waste of time, but it was just like, we're gonna just put this thing in here and it's not gonna really it doesn't even connect thematically to me from what
it doesn't connect thematically to the other stuff. Whenever it happened, I was like, we already have a story, we don't need a second story.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they were going down one route and they're like, oh, never mind. But I do like the idea that is another theme in there that is like, what is better in terms of like living, which we discussed already, like is sometimes dead is better. So I do like that. I think he's part of that, but I think like the other concept of like, who are you and what does it mean to be you is a much more compelling story in this space.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I will play their next like spiritual successor to this game, and I'm excited to see what they do with it.
That'll be fun. We have a segment coming up.
Yep. Okay, so that was the first game. Yes.
Oh damn.
Oh yeah, that was the first game you played. I was gonna prologue your second one.
Okay. Yes. And then I played Eternal Darkness, which Tyler recommended me to play.
I did. I have not played this game in about 20 years.
Okay. I was going to ask if you had ever played this game.
Yes, I have not played this game in about 20 years. I
Okay.
played it very young and
Yeah,
very
yeah.
fleetingly.
Okay.
But in hindsight, knowing that now, I
Yeah.
would say if I had told you to play it now, which I did,
Yeah.
this is me asking you, was this an Arkham Horror expansion video game?
Yes. And I think you really hit the nail on the head there. It was actually a fantastic recommendation by Tyler, if I'm being honest.
Everything I know about this game makes me feel like it would have altered my brain chemistry when I was younger.
I agree with you, Bradley. If I played it at a young age, it would probably alter my brain chemistry as well. It
Now,
probably
now
make
you
me-
guys know what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
Normalize changing your brain chemistry as an adult. You can do it. I believe in you.
So
I'm
hang
trying.
on, let me look up something really quick. I want to look up some dates.
So Eternal Darkness is a game
Yeah.
that came out in 2002. It was made by Silicon Knights, which
Yep.
is no longer around us because of Too Human,
Yeah.
which we've also discussed on the podcast.
So the reason why I want to bring up that date is because it came out in 2002. Do you
Yep.
know what it came out before? Like what came out 3 years after it?
What?
Resident Evil 4. So
Yeah, which is crazy.
and so I bring that up because Resident Evil 4 like is a huge milestone moment in games because that is the point where like third person action shooter games get defined camera wise.
Yeah.
Like does that make sense to everyone?
Real quick,
Yeah.
in the topic of brain chemistry reorienting, Tyler went down the perfect dark route. Well, around that time, I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2, so there's two routes you can take to rearrange your brain at that age.
Yes. Yeah, and so like I bring that up because like this is a 3D game. It's a 3D adventure game, and because Resident Evil wasn't made yet, there wasn't really a like that's how you should do a third person action game or a third person like shooter game, right?
The design grammar was not set in stone.
Right. Correct. So it's very much built like a Resident Evil 1 and 2 with like the fixed camera angle and like you don't know what's around a corner because you can't move your camera and stuff like that, which I thought was really fascinating. Because the game really utilized the fact that it was using 3D environments. Because so this game, I'm going to like go through a lot of it and spoil a lot of it because it's a fucking 24-year-old game at this point.
Yeah.
So this game, you are basically traveling through different like parts of like not necessarily your family's history, but like the history of these people that have been like in charge of this like book that gives them like special like magic powers, like all the way back to the Roman era. And so because of this, you end up like going to the same location multiple times in different time periods. So they really utilize the setting that they have and the assets they have, not only just like redecorating them, but changing the camera angles. So you might be approaching a hallway from a completely different angle than you did like 2 levels ago, which I thought was super cool and fascinating. It really helps in like both making things feel familiar, but also very disorientating. The game, like you play through a bunch of different characters. They all have their own different stats. And essentially you are like learning about like this the first guy you play, Augustus, and how he turned into a fucking necromancer and then started worshiping like a Lovecraftian monster and how he's trying to summon it into your world. That's like the whole storyline of the game. And there's a mechanic in the game called Sanity where it's like you're a different like health meter. You don't die when it hits 0, but you start losing more health when it does. So like whenever you see something horrific, your sanity goes down. The other
system we will not see for another 13 years until Darkest Dungeon.
Yes, basically. But the thing that does do is that when your sanity does hit that low point, the game starts fucking with you, and it's really funny. It's like Willa, you know how in Arkham Asylum you do the scarecrow
Yeah.
segments?
Yep, yep.
It's that kind of shit. Where like literally, so like I played this on through non regulatory means, I would say, right?
Regulatory.
And
It's not
yes,
regulation.
yes, I played it on my computer with the GameCube controller. So I'm playing through the game, and I'm about like 3 or 4 hours into the game, and my sanity is low. And you know what pops up? A thing that says like, "Thanks for playing the Eternal Darkness demo.
That's so
Check
sick.
Check it out in October." I was like, "Fuck! Did I download the wrong thing? I just spent 3 hours of my life playing this game, and then it went back to normal." I was like, "Oh my god."
That's
fucking
made better.
hilarious.
That's made better
Yeah.
from illegal means.
I know. I was just like, holy shit, they got me. And then there are times where like the TV turns off, or like it changes to. I think at one point it turned to a news broadcast that was recorded at that time, which I thought was really funny. Like,
You know,
your
Hideo
snip-
Kojima predicted this kind of video games.
yeah, well, he probably was making one like that.
Yeah. Well, MGS1 had already happened with a weird TV.
Yeah.
Psycho
shit.
Mantis.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, but I thought that, but so like, it's funny because like, I think I was playing in 2002 as a child. I would try to make my sanity as high as possible and never like bring it back up or keep it low. As an adult, I kept it low for as long as possible just so I could see the weird bullshit that was happening. Right. So I had a lot of fun in the game. Now, about 10 minutes into this game, I'm wandering around this house, and I walk into a room. It's this big room with a telescope, and there's a bunch of cranks on the wall. And I'm going up to the cranks, and I'm turning them, and nothing's happening. And I think to myself, there's gonna be some fucking bullshit in this game, like actual like game design bullshit. Like the game's not gonna tell you what you need to do, kind of thing. So I did play with like a guide on the side just in case I got like really stuck in something. But I tried to like keep as faithful of like the exploring and figuring things out myself. That being said, I really like the game like a lot actually, and like it's got that tank control aspect. It's got like really silly moments. Um, the characters like the diversity of the characters and like how they play. Like it's got like the pulpy feel of it as well. Um, but and the only thing that's negative of like it's just a 2000s horror camp, and I think that's got its charm to it, and I really appreciate it for what it is, especially design wise, and like seeing them like pre Resident Evil 4 what they were trying to do with a horror game, and like seeing what they could do. And I think they did a really good job. And like there were times where I'm just like, I am going to fucking die, I need to get out of here. And there are times where I'm just like, this is really silly and kind of annoying as fuck. There's one boss fight that made me actually almost want me to quit the game because it was so dumb. But overall, Tyler, I think this was a great recommend. I was like really like confused as to why you recommended it until like I got through the first 2 levels and went like, I understand, I get it. So great one.
I tried. I was like, I've always wanted somebody else to play it. It's like Eternal Darkness and Killer 7. I'm like, I wish more people
I want to play
knew
Killer
about
7.
these.
That's why I thought you were going to recommend, and then because I've never heard you talk about this game ever, or at least if you did.
He has. You know when? We did a
When?
Nintendo tier list that we should update one day. Actually, now that the Switch era is over.
That's right.
I would have to recreate it because we are not starting from scratch. That'll take
Yeah.
me a while. But he talked about it back then, and I knew he would recommend this one. But I said the other one. This is Eternal Darkness.
Yeah.
I think I said Perfect Dark when I predicted
Yes.
it. But
Yeah.
I had this one in mind, the GameCube one.
Perfect
Yeah,
Dark is the GoldenEye clone, buddy.
Yeah, that's that's an Xbox game.
You sounded like
No,
fucking Tim
Joe, that's a
Robinson,
Nintendo.
man.
That's a Nintendo 64 game.
True.
Yeah,
True.
which
It is.
probably the worst console of all time for game quality. IMO.
Yeah.
Joe.
But yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think like Eternal Darkness is like I also was like playing the game. I realized there's a lot of horror games I've definitely been inspired by this game. Like you can really tell because there's just some aspects to it. Like okay, there's a lot of DNA here that's a little bit like less. That's a lot more subtle in horror games nowadays. I think a lot of people that do design those games did play this game. Are really inspired by it. I really like this game. I don't. It's one of those games that if you play it I think it's a fun little time. I don't know if I would actively like recommend Bradley go play it, like go play it right now, but definitely like keep it on your radar for like if you want to do like some emulation stuff.
Nice.
Right?
Joe, you now have to rank the 3 games that you got tossed back at you
Okay.
from 1 to 3.
Oh shit.
Actually, was it a game for me? I think it was a game, but contingent I complete Alan Wake 2, it's a manga. Is that right?
Yeah, so the first
Okay.
one was one of the 2 games, and then if you did the other game as well, I would do a manga.
All right. So it's Hi-Fi, Soma, Perfect, or Eternal Dark.
Eternal Darkness. This is kind of tough. I think unfortunately Soma's at the bottom just for gameplay purposes.
I think that's totally fair because, like, from the things I know about these other 2 games, I'm not offended.
Well, you played one of the 2 games as well.
Yeah. I think after that is actually Hi-Fi Rush.
I figured.
And like I like Hi-Fi Rush a lot. I will play the next one when it comes out. But like Eternal Darkness like hit like it kind of hit the same nerve, but not nearly as powerful as like Metal Gear Solid 3 did when I played it, where it's like, oh, I should have played this like when I was younger, and it would have really like slid into like everything I was enjoying at the time. If not like unlocking things sooner for me. Like I think if I played Eternal Darkness sooner, it would have like made me realize like, oh, I like this kind of stuff way earlier in my life than where I am now.
You would have been an original Resident Evil 4 kid.
I would have. That was the other thing
that,
too.
That would have made you a very different person.
Yes, and that was the thing though. Is like also is like my parents were like, you cannot play any M-rated games when I was a kid. I was like, okay, whatever. So that was another restriction on my life, but it is what it is.
I'm sorry for your upbringing, Joe.
I know. I'm alive now.
You'll be okay, I think.
Yep.
All right. What else you got?
Nothing. I think they were both great recommends. All 3 of them were great recommends. I will say. So I enjoyed it. It was a fun little exercise. I did not expect last year to also be as stacked as it was in terms of games to play. That was the other problem, as I would have gotten these done a lot sooner if it wasn't for the fact that like Monster Hunter Wilds came out, Death Stranding came out, Expedition came out. Like
they were
just
cooking
so much.
Joe, I was thinking all my favorite games, you stopped them right before my favorite parts because you stopped Persona 3 Reload right before 10-4. You stopped Death Stranding right like on chapter 7, and I think it like pops off at 9. You stopped Expedition on Act 2 near the end. I'm like, that's very funny that it turns out that way.
It's just the length of the games hits a point where it's just like something happens in my life and I start changing. And like I have the saves. I'll go back eventually do them eventually, but like I just have to get back to them.
Okay, so now we have The Pitt, which is a TV show that I watched. This was my Brazil trip show. Watched a bunch of it on the airplane. I had it pre-downloaded. I downloaded alongside Pluribus. And then I gave Bradley a hard drive of Pluribus. And he's like, oh, it's just half Apple Plus, dude. I was like, oh, okay.
Works.
I didn't have to do any of that. Works for me. So, okay, The Pitt. Do you guys know what this show is? Tyler probably knows because Kelly's watched it.
Yeah, this is a guy who's it's the average Joe's doctor. He's a doctor, right?
Yeah, I would not describe this as the average Joe's doctor in any way.
He's the everyman. He's the I'm tired of doctor.
I feel like he's watched this through a shoulder and has not watched the show. Okay, cool.
No, I haven't. No,
perfect.
I haven't.
So I was like, I'm going into this. I would not recommend this show for any of y'all, but I was like, actually, I would recommend this specifically to Kelly. And then I found out she's already watched this. Like, perfect. Okay, cool. The Pitt is one of the greatest TV shows I've watched. It has now joined Pluribus very recently in like the span of 2 weeks as 2 of my favorite shows of all time. And we're only on 1 season, so for both of those shows. So I'm kind of eating good right now as far as TV goes. The Pitt is a 15 episode, 40 to hour long show. Kind of uncommon these days. They love going for the 10 episoders and stuff like that, or the 20 episode like 30-minute shows. But this is from a bygone era. It's made by a guy that's made like a bunch of other popular like hospital style shows. Never been my thing. My brother's really into Grey's Anatomy, so I recommended this to him and my sister as well. So far, they really like it. The thing with this show is that the gimmick is every season is a single day in the ER.
Damn.
All 15 episodes account for a single hour of that shift. So it starts at 7 a.m. and season 1 ended at about 9 p.m. And it's almost real time. You know, there's some editing magic. We linger on some scenes while another scene is happening simultaneously, and we go back to that one. But every episode is accounting for 1 hour of the day. It just happens to be a particularly bad day on the ER that day, for the most part. For the most part, though, it's trying to pretend like it's the average day in the ER. And that is a horrifying thought, because this show is so nonstop crazy. It's just like they finish saving someone's life, and there's already someone getting wheeled in, and they have something even more horrifying. And then you get a couple light scenes. The doctors hang out with one another. They crack some jokes. They have some cooler talk. Boom! Another life-saving moment popping up right around the corner. Non-stop. No time to breathe. Even the little breaks in between are so short that it's like some of these little like cute character moments would be happening literally in between a child dying. It's like sandwiching those scenes. It's horrifying. It's so bleak. I have to look away from like the medical gore sometimes. Like it gets very realistic. This show is the anti-Pluribus, which I lobbed it up with this one. This is all plot nonstop, while Pluribus is like almost entirely all character and like themes and stuff nonstop. This show is so addicting because it is just a relentless stream of medical cases and character moments from like these doctors interacting with one another, saving lives, failing to save lives, the weight that takes on them, the bonds that they make. And this season's really smart because this is the day where there's 4 new doctors joining the crew. It's like 2 to 3, no, it's 2 medical doctors, 1 doctor. By the way, the doctor system is so complicated. I'm sure you guys have people, like family members in your life, that's explained this to you. And Bradley, your mom's like a nurse or something, right? Or something like that?
There's teacher.
There's interns, there's residents, there's those that have fellowships, and there's like
there's a tier between intern and like resident, where it's like
attending.
There's so much going on. So basically, there's 4 newbies. 2 of them are completing like they're about to become doctors. One of them is a doctor. It's like her first time working at a hospital kind of thing, and then the other is like she's like a little bit more experienced than her. And because it's their first day and it's a learning hospital in Pittsburgh, you get a lot of very natural exposition where it's like, okay, Whitaker, what do you do in this situation? And he's like, blah, 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 jargon. And it's like, cool, you're right. Or, no, you're wrong. You should try this instead. So it as the perfect excuse to explain to the watcher what's going on. But even then, they're not sugarcoating like the lingo. It's all over my head for the most part. But like, you get the gist of it because they're explaining it to these learning doctors. Even the doctors at the hospital are always like fact-checking each other and like bouncing off of each other for ideas of how to stop this person from bleeding geysers from their neck. Like, it's really well constructed. And yeah, like I mentioned, it flip-flops between scenes of like easy cases to office goofing off to the most bleak shit you've seen on television. And, you know, on to the next episode, on to the next hour of a shift. It's just relentless. And I'm like, okay, 2 p.m. was hell in this first season. What they had to go through to 2 p.m. would break me. I've had weekends where I'm waking up at 2 p.m. because I stayed up too late. And they have gone through an entire shift almost of saving lives. And I thought 2 p.m. was bad. 6 p.m. was actual hell in this season. And they still had 3 hours to go because it was an extended shift. So crazy. There's also like layers of And if you guys know anyone that's worked in medical, you've probably heard of how traumatizing COVID era was. That's the main character's thing. He flashes back to a day during COVID era. They're all wearing like their hazmat suits that they had to wear, and he has to choose between saving his mentor, who has taught him everything he knows and he cares for deeply, or calling it quits after putting him on the bed for too long so that another girl can take his bed and get on the respirators. And he has to make the tough decision to let him go. And he flashes back to that. He's like constantly like hand sanitizing his hands. There's just so much like trauma from that time. And it's his first day back after taking like a long break this season 2. So like just a perfect day for a lot of chaos, and that's exactly what the season is. There's also a Chekhov's gun. So because like it's day long, some people will get there early in the season and be there till late into the night because they were just in the ER all day, because that's what happens sometimes. We have to go to the ER. And those plot lines kind of like feed into the main plot, and there's Chekhov's guns that fire later, and there's a really good one that combines the efforts of the day crew, which we start with, and near the end of the season, they introduce a bunch of new characters, which is the night crew coming in, and they're taking over. It's really interesting because the first scene of the show basically is our main character going to the roof, seeing the head doctor of the night shift, who is like contemplating jumping off the building, and then he's like, "All right, brother, see you later." And then like they switch shifts, and then near the end of the season, night shift doctor comes back. He's a badass. He's so cool. He's so cool and interesting. All the characters are like A to S tier minimum. There is no bad character in the show. They are all so good. My favorite character is the charge nurse. Her name is Dana. I did not think she would be my favorite character, but about 6 episodes in, I'm like, this is the coolest woman I've ever met. And yeah, I don't know if any of y'all would like this show. This is not a recommend, but season 2 started literally last week. This is breaking the cycle of 2 to 3 years between every season, which is pretty nice, and they're pretty meaty seasons. So this guy knows how to handle television, and they only have to shoot in one set. I think that's what's really good for this show as far as like getting stuff out in the streaming era. They don't have to make new sets. They're in the ER the whole time. So they're just like reusing that one and just doing it on there. And it's also really, really interesting. I've never watched one of these medical shows, but I think I get the gist, where they're at the hospital. They have a lot of time for leisure and drama and salacious like storylines and whatnot that go through like multiple weeks to months. Meanwhile, this season is at the ground, like the basement floor of that same hospital that other show would be happening on. A single episode of the Pitt is happening in one season, or a single season in one day.
That's a cool way to describe it.
And like, it feels very intentional. Where it's like, yeah, there's no time for the month-long romance plot lines. We got people to save. And it's also kind of like the weakness of the show, right? Because they can't do that much character development in one day without feeling unrealistic. So there's going to have to be a lot of the characters that's off-screened or exposition to you later. Particularly, I think Season 2 has the same format, but it's quite a bit later. And from what I understand, it's like, yeah, you're going to get a lot of exposition and character development from like what happened in between these 2 days, however long it's been. So that is a limitation of the format, but the format of like the single day story has other strengths that no other show has. So really fucking good. I can't wait to start watching Season 2. Really good time to jump on for me. Lucked out on that. And yeah, that's the Pitt. I had like a nice little movie block, but I don't want to talk twice in a row. So I'm going to break the movie block up. Zootopia 2 came out. What's up with that?
It did, and look, you gotta know, Disney sequels historically are not good.
No.
Like, even during the golden age, like Mulan 2, Aladdin 2, not their best work, right? And like, even more recently, Moana 2, frankly, sucked ass. A lot of people like Frozen 2. I wasn't a big fan of Frozen 2. This was a good Disney 2. It wasn't as good as the first one, but Zootopia 2 was a laugh-a-minute movie. I was laughing my ass off. It was good. I don't know. Joe watched it too.
I have like weird plot problems with the movie. I think the movie is very entertaining. I think it's very funny. I think it's a good family movie. But I have like there's some weird writing aspects of it I have as an adult that kind of throw me off. One is like so at the end of the first movie, the fox and the rabbit they become police partners, right? At the precinct. This movie takes place 1 week after the last movie, but they act like it's been a year since they had any kind of case that they had to like
Yeah,
crack.
I was surprised how little time passes between 1 and
Yeah.
2.
And like that's a really small like writing thing, just changing it from a week to a year. And it just kind of bugs me for whatever reason. Like it's like that can also like set up like a really good funny moment where it's like Nick goes through a montage of like, oh, what about all the crimes that we busted? It's a bunch of like lame crimes, right? That was super easy in comparison to everything. Um, I think like Tyler would hate this movie because the main plot point is the two characters are not talking to each other about their feelings, right?
That's a pretty bad problem to have. That could be pretty annoying.
Yes, and I think that was also very annoying in this movie. If I'm being completely honest, but at the same time, there are multiple moments in the movie where like there are other characters that point out to them like the two of y'all are not on the same page. Y'all need to talk about it. Like they are told explicitly they need to work something out and figure out what they actually want. Which is like okay, cool. It's still kind of annoying. That being said, I think the movie is very funny. Like I think there's a lot of really good jokes in this movie. Like a lot more than I thought was gonna like actually be. Um
Y-
it's there's also but like there's also some weird like pacing stuff to it too. Like there's a snake in the movie, Bradley. And the way that snake is presented both in like marketing and also in the movie, you feel like he was supposed to be in it a lot more, and then they cut a lot of the scenes out with him. Do you feel that?
Yeah, and I've seen like some art of the snake character and what he was originally supposed to look like, and he seemed less like a less like he was and more of like a robed figure, and like
Yeah.
it seemed like his mood was more appropriate in his art for what his character wants compared to how he
Yeah.
is in the movie.
Like there's a he says something like he says like permission to hug at the very end of the movie, and that feels like a payoff to like a running gag throughout the movie, but they cut out the build up to it. Like but they kept it
Yeah.
in the movie. And it's stuff like that it feels a bit Frankenstein to me. I still enjoyed the movie, but I definitely feel like there was a lot of editing done in the story that didn't like come through all the way for me, right? Um, but there's also like some really good stuff that I really like too. Like I like that Hobbs and Wild are like having this really like bad relationship between each other, and it's very much like getting in the way of their police work, and they're being chased by like competent cops that like actually work together, and
That's
they
the thing.
pretty
I
much
think
get
like
caught.
this movie, the like core plot of like this mystery behind like the history of Zootopia and this district of the city, the
Yeah,
core plot I was not that interested in. I was much more interested in what is going on with Nick and Judy. Like you said, that
yeah,
chase, because I think it's very common, maybe in children's media, for you to expect, like, at the end of Zootopia 1, now they're partners, and maybe it's just kind of the audience's expectation that these two are the perfect partners now, and that they're the best cops out of all the cops. And
yeah,
then
yeah.
coming into this movie and seeing that no, they are cops who have only been cops for about a week, and the other cops have more training. I'm like, I don't know, that was kind of refreshing to see, and also seeing that just because they were best friends in the first movie does not mean they work perfectly together. There are some points in this movie where Nick is really trying to speak up for himself, and he's like, If we are partners, I really want you to weigh in on what I'm thinking we should do here." And she just does not listen to him, and he very rightfully gets his feelings hurt. That stuff to me was way more important than the core central conflict of the movie.
I agree. I like that stuff when it did come up too. I just feel like there's just some like there's some writing like I don't know how to describe it. There's just some writing aspects to it that just kind of does not feel nearly as professional as I would like it to feel, if that makes sense.
And for that reason, that's the reason I rank it lower than the first movie. Comedy wise, though, I think this movie's worth watching if it's on Disney Plus, because it really was just getting me. Like when they go to the hidden reptile part of the city, and their guide is like, okay, these guys are rough, these guys are tough, they don't take bullshit. He's like, if they put something in front of you, you eat it, okay? And then they're at the table, and this lizard slides a bunch of worms to them, and there's like this whole 2-minute long bit where they're trying to choke down the worms without throwing them up. And as soon as they're done, everybody in the bar's like, oh my god, they ate the worms.
Yeah, that was really funny. Also, that beaver character, I did not think I would like. I ended up really liking that character. Yeah. That was another character that, like, my favorite thing ever is when, like, a character that's competent at something and people don't believe they're competent at something, like, at their job. And I think that beaver is like a conspiracy theorist and, like, hunts down clues and everything. So you think she's a nut, but no, she's like, she does her research. Like, she figures things out. She's just a little kooky. And I really like that. Like, there's just a lot of it that I like, but there's a lot of it that just is really distracting to me.
So that's it's not great. I rank it way higher than I usually rank Disney sequels, though.
Yeah. All right.
So
and that's all about Zootopia 2.
We got. I'll go in with Cyberpunk real quick. I beat Cyberpunk kind of on a whim. Bradley mentioned recently that he's been playing Red Dead Redemption in the year of our Lord 2026. I also had the inkling to play Red Dead Redemption on the year of our Lord 2026 because there's two games where it's like they had kind of rough launches or like bad press when they were coming out. Both of them are notorious crunch games as well, but they're well known for how good the stories are. And I was like, okay, if I see these on sale, because I mentioned earlier, I was like, I don't know if there's many cool games coming out. I think this would be the time to try these out. So I got both of them. Found out that Red Dead Redemption 2 runs 30 FPS on a PS5 Pro. But they just recently patched Red Dead 1. So if I keep waiting, there might be a chance Red Dead 2 gets it before GTA 6 or whatever. So we'll see about that. Bradley, you have to let me know how your Red Dead journey is going in future talks.
Yes. We're like 40% right now, so it's coming.
Oh, that's sizable in there. The game's pretty big. So
40% is like a lot of fucking hours.
Yeah. Especially if you're doing side content, I imagine. I went with Cyberpunk instead. My experience with CD Projekt Red is I think Witcher 3 is incredibly boring. The gameplay does absolutely nothing for me, so I could not get into that game, even though that is another game with a really good storyline. Cyberpunk had so many notorious issues coming out and was a buggy mess for a long time, and Joey played it a year, and it was in one of our Game of the Years. It didn't get super high, and I don't really blame it if it was at that rough of a state. But the current state of this game is really fucking good. This is a great game.
I played it recently a few years ago, and they've done more patches because they had the DLC, right? But like when I played it again on the PlayStation, I really enjoyed it. I was having a really fun time. They revamped the combat system, and they obviously fixed the bugs and everything. So I really enjoyed it when I was playing it.
Was not that buggy. It crashed like 3 times in my, I don't know how long it took, like 40-hour, 50-hour playthrough. Not that bad.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy visually, nothing super stupid like with the AI or the open world. It's in a good solid state. Also runs pretty well in the graphics mode on the PS5 Pro. Don't usually put on graphics mode, but I think this is a game where, to put my cards on the table, the gameplay is not that fun. It's Borderlands light. It's a shooter with some RPG mechanics, and the guns have random mods, but they're not like as crazy as Borderlands mods get.
I would say it's closer to the Fallout 4 than anything.
Really?
In terms of have you played Fallout 4?
I played Fallout 3.
Okay. There's like very I guess
the hacking is VATS-esque in its own
Yeah.
way.
And I think there's a VATS skill you can unlock for your character as well, if I remember correctly.
There's one that slows down time for stamina while you're aiming. Yeah, I was surprised. This game is a lot more RPG than I thought. So I still got some enjoyment in like character building. But honestly, like I didn't think the gameplay would be so important that I needed it at 60 FPS. So I actually sacrificed it for the visual mode, which is uncommon for me. But goddamn, was it worth it? Because it still runs at like a 40, 45 frame rate, and looks absolutely gorgeous. This might be the best looking like realistic game, because it's also it's going for the realistic style, but it also is stylized in a lot of interesting ways. So like there's still an art style here. It's not just like realistic slop, try to get the most wrinkles on these people's faces kind of game.
Realistic.
So Night City is just this gorgeously rendered neon city that is a nightmare hellscape that I would never want to live in.
Nope.
The cyberpunk future is so not for me. I hate that body mod, super techie shit. I like the aesthetic of it. The dreadful, like, moral complexes that go along with it and the corpo slop, like, it's a setting where corporations are the companies now, which is very common to cyberpunk as a medium. People are just like working many hours a days because they've optimized sleeping and energy drinks and food. So it's like it's an absolute hellscape. There's gangs on the street. People can fry your brain with hacks because you have so many cybernetics in your body. Ugh. Hate it. Wonderful place to play a video game in though.
Yeah.
And the story is really freaking good. I like the characters a lot. Your protagonist V is a good execution of like morally not so great, but has his right mostly in the right place in most scenarios kind of street kid.
Yeah.
I went the corpo route as like his background because it gives you the most interesting like background and conversation. But it becomes fuck the corpos as soon as the real plot kicks in, which is you put a chip in your brain that has the digitized ghost, simplifying here, of Keanu Reeves' character Johnny Silverhands, who in 2022 was a major terrorist, domestic terrorist.
2022 in game.
In game, which their 2022 is still way more advanced than our 2022, for what it's worth. And yeah, Johnny Silverhand gets another chance to live, but the problem is the way the chip works is he is slowly taking over your body, and there's no way to stop it. So the story is you going on different side quests and like different leads on who knows how to get this guy out of my fucking brain or how to stop this process. And it's really interesting. There's a lot of different routes you can take, a lot of different endings you can take following that. I played to get 2 to 3 endings. And I cut it off there. I need to go back and watch the other ones. I got one ending for the DLC. The DLC features Idris Elba and is like a political spy thriller where you go into this secluded city called Dogtown within Night City where they are completely... they're like self-sufficient. They don't have to deal with the corpo governments and the new United States government. They are their own thing. But the president of the new United States crashes on there, and you have to rescue her. A hacker lady shows up in your brain. It's like, you gotta rescue me and the president. She's incredibly sketch. And you and the president go through a Metal Gear Solid mission together where you fight a Metal Gear. She can throw hands, by the way, Madam President. And then you do some stuff for her, and you try to find the hacker, and you work with Special Agent Idris Elba. And it's really good. Really tough moral decisions you have to make in that, and that kind of goes for a lot of this game. There are no happy endings. There's just mildly less bittersweet endings than others. So I got the Reed focused ending with the DLC, and then for the main game, I got the ending that is focused on Johnny. Is the best way to explain it, where Johnny makes a sacrifice for you. And that's really the best part of the story is Johnny's in your head, Keanu Reeves, and he's always there, like listening to side quests, sometimes chiming in, sometimes going on like anti-fascist rants and just being an overall dickhead. But he's a really charismatic character, and throughout the game, you have a bond that forms between y'all. And if you play your cards right, he's generally like, you know what, dude, I'm going to do everything I can to save you, even though like this is a chance of me coming back to life. I'm going to help you out and make sure that you can live. And you guys grow a friendship from that, and a lot of the endings stem from that. So it's really good on that. Um, any other notable things about the game? Those are the main things. There's just like a lot of really good characters, a lot of really good side quests. I didn't do too many of them. I kept it at a brisk pace, but had a really good time. Didn't expect to like this game as much as I did, for sure.
Yeah.
You should you should try it out on your PS5 Pro, which I am assuming you own it on.
Yes, I do. I own it on PlayStation 5. I mean, I played the game and I got to like right before the start of the final mission, like when they tell you like if you
Go meet
if you start
Hanako
the-
at Embers.
Yeah.
I
When you
didn't
start
know
the
that was the
plotline-
final mission, but it just so happened there's a meme where it's like anything to do but go meet Hanako at Embers, and I was like, that's funny because when that mission popped up is when like I decided to go pursue the other storylines because I was doing a lot of the main quest, and then
Yeah.
eventually it's like, okay, let's go finally talk to Hanako again. It's like you're entering the final mission. I was like, what already? You can really beeline it over there, and I didn't even know.
I had a friend who like the same thing happened to her where she was just like I was playing the game and suddenly it just started ending. I was really confused.
Yeah,
because
it does warn you, but I was like, oh man, I didn't expect, because it's kind of like a nondescript mission. It just a lot of endings branch off from that decision point, and you can't go back once you start it. So
yeah.
until you beat one.
Cool. I want to play Cyberpunk again and like actually finish it, but like I want to play I hear DLC, like you said, is like
It's
very
pretty
good.
sick. I liked it a lot. Very worth it.
Yeah.
Very good character. Actually, the two best characters are the two main DLC characters there.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from Johnny,
Once
Johnny's
again,
probably my favorite.
If you go back in time and you listen to me talk about the game, I played it when the game came out. That game is a very different game than it is today.
I think any complaints people had are valid. It's also gave me an excuse to rewatch the Tim Rogers Action Button review for Cyberpunk, where it is like a 7-hour review, and he's like, yeah, watch 2 of the 6 parts. And my ass is like, I beat the game now. I'm watching every part. You can't stop me. And that's what I did. A very good review. That guy goes on tangents like a motherfucker, and it's very entertaining. Tyler, I'm assuming this is a you thing, watching Welcome to Derry, which you just posted a very funny Pennywise picture that made me giggle.
Would you like to describe the picture, Willer?
The picture is I believe, 4chan thread where Pennywise from the 2019 movies looks really upset. It says, "Officer, help! They're running a fucking train down here. What the fuck? I wanted their souls, not this shit." I didn't actually read this until I just read it now. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then there's another one of the TV series.
The Tim Curry one.
Tim Curry one. He's like, "Officer, help! There's a bunch of kids running a train on a young girl down here." Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah.
Welcome to Derry's all about.
So, Welcome to Derry is a TV series based on it. It is a prequel to the 2017 movies. It's only 8 episodes, 8 1-hour episodes. And we have the fantastic Bill Skarsgård reprising his role as Pennywise.
It was pretty good. And yeah,
he is pretty peak Pennywise. If you're familiar with the It lore, we have a lot of characters in this show and a lot of names getting dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this show takes place in 1951.
Nice.
which
No.
is how far before? Like this was the story of the 70s.
1962. Sorry, 1962. Which the first movie takes place in the 80s. So this is a prequel to that. And if you know are y'all familiar with Pennywise's power?
Pennywise
To a degree.
is the Deadlights. He is a evil light from another dimension that takes the form of your fears, but mostly a clown. But also a spider.
Yeah, he could be a spider.
The spider is like his like original form, essentially.
His original form is three little lights floating in a circle.
No, it's like a giant space crab a little bit.
But there's
it's like a space spider crab.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of Stephen King bullshit.
Yeah, I was gonna say the turtle, but I forgot the turtle's what saves everybody.
No, the turtle hates him. The turtle's his arch.
Yeah, the turtle hates him. No, you know what? It's like, honestly, at this point, in all of this It lore that I fucking shoved in my face in the last decade, there has been no mention of the goddamn turtle in any media representation other than the book.
It's just a book. The turtle and the train are book exclusives.
It's books, because there's also the Dark Tower series that like expands the Stephen King stuff.
I'll say it doesn't exist in a vacuum, I guess.
Wait, are you telling me Pennywise and the turtle show up in the Dark Tower?
Yes, the Dark Tower series is the connection of all the Stephen King's books. So like, what's it called? Pet Cemetery. Like they explain how that whole system works in that series.
I wonder how the Stand By Me connection goes.
I don't know, man. I didn't like the Gunslinger.
All right, so now I have to read the Dark Tower.
Tell me how it is, because I could never get into it.
Dude, it took me like 4 times to read it, so you know.
Yeah,
8 times the charm. Anyway, yeah, this show is actually really good. I'm gonna spoil the first 5 minutes of the show for y'all.
Okay.
We open up on Derry, you know, good old Derry. You can never leave Derry. And a small boy gets in a car with a family. He's hitchhiking down the road. And then we have a loving daughter and son and father and mother.
What could go wrong?
The mother is pregnant and she is singing along with the son, he's like maybe 6 or 7 years old. And he's like, I'm really good at spelling. I can spell stuff. And so he keeps spelling in the car, like he's in the back seat, just listing off letters and spelling words. Already annoying. And then the daughter pulls out a can of liver, and she's like, this is gonna be the best road trip ever. And the dad's just going, and the words that the boy starts spelling gets a little bit more disturbing.
Nice.
Would y'all like the spoiler for this? Is anybody gonna watch it? That's the real question.
I could watch this, but if this is the first scene, tease me a little bit.
This is the first scene, you know?
Yeah.
The mother gives birth right there in the car, and the camera is panned in the whole time on the birthing canal.
Oh, so you also watched a vagina give birth, because I saw that on the Pitt. But you also
so like it doesn't look away, and it's like a demon baby, and it's really cool because the demon baby that she gives birth to reminds me of this demon baby from this book series called the Demonata, and it's like there's this thing called there's this devil called Lord Loss, and he has this little demon baby with him all the time, and I was like, oh, dude, it's Artery, the demon baby, with the giant head and fiery eyes and multiple mouths on its hand, and it has wings and shit. Yeah, so she gives birth to it in the car, and then it starts flying around the car, and it proceeds to attack the kid, and the car wrecks off into the river.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's the first like 5 minutes of Return to Derry.
Lovely.
Cool.
The show is entertaining, but if you expect consistency between what the universe has established Pennywise's powers to be, they pretty much throw that book out the window and are like they kind of try to nerf Pennywise in this movie a little bit. This movie is a little bit of a nerf to Pennywise's powers.
Damn. I can't believe they would do that to poor Penny.
I didn't think he needed it this patch, to be honest. I think he could have used a buff, if anything. So it's a little heartbreaking.
I mean, he does pretty bad against crowd controls and a lot of little children, but he's good at one-on-one.
Yeah.
Dude, one-on-one, he's a beast. He's unstoppable. I think he's
One-on-one,
actually,
always bet on Pennywise.
he's actually only been defeated, I think, a few times in one-on-one combat. That's against a fully kitted out player. They have the
late game scaled.
They have the meteorite dagger, which is like the #1 counter to Pennywise. So yeah, it's the show is a little bit of nods to what happens in the book in the later shows, and it's like, oh, that's neat. Yeah, haha. I don't know. The first episode's really good, and then everything else is like, wait, can't Pennywise just do that? And then it doesn't happen, and you're like,
that's kind of how it goes. He fucks around for a lot of it. Like,
he's a clown.
Well, Art the clown would be killing motherfuckers, but that's the goat.
Yeah, like, I think that's the problem, is they tried to focus so much on people in this show that they forgot that there's a giant killer clown running around, which is very entertaining in the first episode when they pull it off, but then they do that the rest of the show, and I'm like, I didn't need half an episode dedicated to why Pennywise looks like a clown, you know?
They get into that?
They get into that. Yeah. It's so important.
World's most important lore.
Yeah. I think they're trying to set up a season 2.
Of course.
I don't know how they would do it. I really don't. They talk about time travel at the very last episode.
Uh-oh.
And that Pennywise is probably capable of time traveling. Which is established in the book, I believe. Like, yeah, that is like once he's born, he also like experiences death, so he's living through all simultaneous timelines at the same time. Yeah.
I love when clowns do that.
Yeah, you know which form. They do show off a lot of cool Pennywise transformations in this movie or this show. They do have that going for you. Pennywise looks amazing in it. Every time he's on screen, he's magnetic and does some cool shit. He definitely kills some children in this movie. I think he has a higher kill count than Art in this movie for killing children.
It's a TV show, yeah.
I will say, my biggest pet peeve in this show is 2 things. One, there's a military aspect to it. Joe, would you like to guess what the military is doing in this show?
Nothing.
Yeah, but why would the military be included in the show? What do you think the military
is trying to weaponize the Deadlight, or
there you go, Willer. You nailed it right on the head.
I watched Stranger Things. This is the same.
You've watched a TV show. Yeah. They literally could not think of a different plot.
This reminds me to finish Alien Earth, but go on.
Yeah,
military bad.
So here's the thing: the military base is outside of Derry. So it is safe from the influence of Pennywise. However, one of our main characters is a military guy, and he's brought on and like held in secrecy to like uphold this experiment. But his family lives in Derry. The whole point of Pennywise's power that we see in the first episode is that you cannot leave Derry. Like, that is the whole fucking point. And they establish it. Like, the little kid's trying to escape from Derry. He literally says anywhere but Derry. The family leaves town, and then like as all this chaos is happening, the dad's still driving, and then they're you see the sign that says "Welcome to Derry," and it's like, oh, they turned around and he's going back to town. Like, the whole premise is that you cannot leave Derry, but then the other half of that coin is, oh, we'll be safe away from Pennywise on the military base because it's not in Derry. And I'm like, no, you're not allowed to leave Derry. So it's either you're breaking that rule or you're not actually safe on the military base. And they just leave that plot hole open, and it pisses me off.
Derry is wherever Pennywise wants it to be.
That's not true.
Yeah, Joe, what the fuck?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
I should not be dumb.
it is not true. They establish why it is Derry in this show. They just don't establish good consistency with Pennywise's powers. Also, for some reason, half of the plot is Stephen King. Not Stephen King. Wait, is that Stephen King?
Yes.
He
Who?
wrote
Oh,
these.
yeah. No. For some reason, the other half of the plot is Stephen King's The Shining.
Yeah. Like I said, Dark Tower. Everything's connected.
Yeah. So, they're
We all
one of the main
shine
prominent.
down here, Georgie.
Yes, that they are literally shining at each other. There is a shine battle at one point in Return to when Welcome to Derry.
Melee 20XX shine battles.
I battle.
Yep. I would recommend pirating this, and it's a good background show for a handheld device. That's my rating.
For a handheld device, he hates this shit. Fuck.
I know.
Damn.
I was playing Bravely Default while watching it. I had a good time.
Brother's got 3 monitors, but he's like, this is a handheld show. This shit's trash.
It's I think I watched the last few episodes, not handheld, but the main kids in our show are rather lackluster. They really just pull the same plot points from
Stranger Things?
no, from the book. And they're like, yeah, what if there was another fire and black people are involved? And they're like, yeah, we can do that every 26 years. And it's like, really? Like, couldn't think of anything else?
Look,
Nope.
everyone can be a villain sometimes. I don't like this, like, oh, we can't let certain people be villains anymore. Let them cook.
They show me a live birth, and then they don't put the white people in clan hoods when they burn down the black club. It kind of bothers me.
Cowardice. All right. So we have a predicament. I need time to talk to about Pluribus with Bradley. So what we're gonna do, we'll talk about Rogue One, and then we're going to speed run the last trilogy of topics, and then I'm gonna tell y'all to fuck off.
Okay.
Okay.
Deal.
Bradley.
Deal.
Bradley, what did you
Andor
think of
good.
Andor good.
Andor good. This is, I mean, it's been said a million times. This is the good Star Wars content. It sounds like people were waiting for a long time. It was very fun to watch after, like, just me just deep diving into Star Wars last year and finally getting to check out media. And Andor was some pretty good media. A lot of good things to say. I could start with probably my only negative of this entire series, which I don't even know if you had any negatives. I don't know. Did you?
None that I can think of right now, but I can be convinced.
The only possible negative I can think of is this doesn't really have the characteristic Star Wars camp, and you know, maybe it's not really expected to because this is a drama. Like among Star Wars shows, like Clone Wars is not meant to be a drama. I don't think it's meant to be like a Saturday morning cartoon, and even the Star Wars movies are not meant to be a drama. They are more specifically like a space opera. So this one, this show is much more serious. I think what kind of turned me off in some points is that I don't think anybody in this show likes each other ever, and like.
No.
Even people who have a reason to like each other, like they've known each other for years and they are allied, they don't really smile in each other's presence, like Cassie and Bix. And you know, the excuse can be made like, okay, well, this isn't really a smiling time in the galaxy. You know, it's a rebellion. They're fighting a war, and I'm like, even when they have times to smile, like when they have, when they successfully pull off a mission and. So I don't know. Characters can feel a little standoffish. I would have liked to see a little bit more warmth in the darkness. That is like period my only downside of the entire show.
I don't agree.
Yeah? Hit
No,
me.
I don't. I think it's really important that the show is like very dead serious, because Star Wars is so campy, and it really wants to break down of like we have the benefit in Star Wars, and like this is like the good and bad of Andor, I would say. So probably a little bit right in your corner, but I like it in Andor. Andor feels so very connected that from the original trilogy and the original series because it's not as campy. It
Yeah.
reminds me a lot of Pluto, which is a anime that I watched a few years ago. That I
Good
thought was
show.
really, really good.
Kurosawa anime. I need to watch that.
Yeah, where it's like a reimagining of an Astro Boy arc, but very serious in its tone and its themes, right? And I think trying to Andor is reconceptualizing the myth of A New Hope with the idea of like what did it actually take to do this, both on the Imperial side of things and the rebellion side of things. Like, what is the sacrifices that are being made there? And I think if you go too much in that camp, you kind of like you need to either go full in of just making a fun Star Wars adventure or really digging into like here's like the seriousness and how real this preposterous thing can be. So
Yeah.
and I think they made the right decision of like we're going to make it very serious. There's not going to be a lot of levity in the show. The show does have its moments. Like there's the scene where like in the very end of like season 2 where K2SO and Andor's friend they're playing cards and they're cracking up because K2SO cannot understand bluffing. So he
That was
doesn't
that was
understand.
that was like the one like comedic scene of the show, and I loved it.
Yes, and like that's really important there because like that is like the calm before the storm because that kicks off like after that scene kicks off like the last 3 episodes now that huge like rescue arc, right? And it goes into Rogue One. So I think it's like I think Tony Gilroy came into like the picture of like we're going to take Star Wars and we're going to take it seriously, and but to do that we need to make it more realistic. I am of the opinion that I like season 1 more than season 2. I think because it really dissects that galaxy more and what it means to be a rebel,
Yeah.
essentially.
And that's the thing. The whole rebellion aspect is really important. So like I don't know, the show and the characters within it being more serious. Maybe it's wrong to call it a gripe or like a negative against the show because they weren't attempting to do that at all. They were attempting to show the rebellion. You get the triumph of the rebellion in episode 4,
Yeah.
but it almost feels dishonest because it's like rebellions in real life aren't just you show up and blow up the thing and then everybody's free. It is decades and decades of people sacrificing everything they have ever had and
Yeah.
not knowing if that will even work.
Yes. I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old,
Yeah.
Um so I think that's and I really like the show for taking that kind of stride in the Star Wars universe. Like because I like the vibe of the Star Wars universe and I really nailed I think that like what's it called? That like Empire Strikes Back kind of like tone to it, I think, right?
Yeah.
And like I love the Empire side of the show is like my favorite part because we get to see the machinations of this like bureaucracy and this like what caused and the idea of like it's a twofold manner of like not only do like these people have to keep fighting, but also that the empire itself is so selfish that it collapses on top of each other because like it has this theme of this ambitious ladder that you have to climb over someone but there's always going to be someone else right below you trying to climb over you or
That's
kicking you down even.
It really does eat itself because within
Yeah.
the Empire, you have some people on the Empire's side who genuinely believe in the creed of what the Empire is trying to do, even if the Empire itself is dishonest. They
Yeah.
believe in it and they work as hard as they can. They are loyal even when they shouldn't be. And
Mhm.
they get tossed aside by their superiors because their superior sees an opportunity for, oh, maybe I could get a promotion a few years down the line if I do this thing. And
Mhm.
that's the thing. The Empire had all the tools it needed to succeed, and it is the lust for power and this greed inherent in it that causes it to eat itself.
And it's also the same thing on the Rebellion, where Rebellion was like so far behind, but it's only because people like Luthen who like did everything they could to keep it going. And like just trying like he is backstabbed, he has killed, he has sacrificed himself, and like it's only through his like sacrifices the Rebellion able to get its chance to like fight back, right? And like I really like the power scaling of the show where like you start off with Cyril kind of being your like first like bad guy. He's just like a beat cop essentially, and he's like, I got a big case. This is gonna make me. And then he gets in big trouble because he fucks it all up. And then you get introduced um to like Kino
Yeah.
and oh god, what's the name of the blonde girl? Dedra.
Yeah.
And that's the next step up because Dedra is now chasing after Luthen and knows there's like some sort of conspiracy. And then Kino is like the reluctant lackey of the Empire because he's like the head prisoner in that like whole prison sequence. Also, that prison arc is like some of the best like television I've seen.
That was one of my
It's-
favorite stretches of episodes. But
Yeah.
no, you're right that like the insights into the Empire side and also the Rebel side are very interesting because we get kind of nuances to both sides of this conflict where
Yeah.
on the Empire side, you look at Cyril, and Cyril, like a lot of the people he works with and all of his superiors are people who I think they are very well aware that they are the bad guys and they just don't give a shit.
Yes.
But Cyril is one of those people where there are not enough truly evil psychopathic humans out there to support a fascist dictatorship in real life. There are those people out there, but in order to support it, you have to in some way rely on the back of people who otherwise might just be ordinary humans and think they are doing the right thing.
Yes.
And Cyril is a person who, from his, like the classic Star Wars line, good as a point of view. From Cyril's point of view,
Yeah.
he sees two officers get murdered in cold blood. He doesn't know the specifics of
And-
what was going on in the castle.
And I think and it's also like totally justified. Like I get it.
because like
it's two murders. It should be
these
investigated.
murders happen, and then he talks to his boss about it, and his boss is like, "I'm gonna be honest. I've worked with those guys. They're shitheads. They probably just talked shit to the wrong dude and got shot," which is exactly what happened. And Cyril's outraged at this. He's like, two people got murdered. He's like, he believes in the mission of the Empire. And he's like, if we're going to have a lawful society, you can't just brush two murders under the rug. And he begins his big investigation. And I think where the series really hooked me is at the end of episode 3, he's been doing this investigation into the murders.
Yeah.
Cassian and Luthen are fleeing the scene. And obviously Cyril and his boys tried to arrest them, but Cassian and Luthen are fleeing the scene. Cyril and his boys aren't shooting after them. They're just like, fuck, they got away. And Luthen clicks his detonator and blows up a bunch of the officers as they are fleeing the scene. And so to Cyril's point of view, it's like, these guys kill two of our men, and then we come to try to investigate, and then when they are fleeing and we're no longer a danger, they blow us up. What kind of evil thug does that? And that's probably what it's like from his point of view.
Hey, you know what's ironic, Bradley, is that like that's exactly how the rebellion wins.
Yeah.
It takes every small victory it can take until it finally gets to so big it blows up the biggest project the Empire's ever invested in, right? Because Cyril was like, right. It's just like if we don't stop the smallest thing, it just keeps getting bigger. And that's both true on both sides, where it's like if we don't stop every sense of oppression, it just keeps bigger. Because that's even reflected in One Way Out with the prison. They go through the whole prison arc where they're building this shit, only to find out that the pieces they're building are pieces of the Death Star, which is like the biggest weapon they could use to oppress everyone. It's the smallest oppressions leads to the larger ones, which is a really great theme.
And it's sad that Cyril never really gets his redemption moment. There's almost a moment where you think he will on Gorman, and then he sees the object of his mission. He finally sees Cassian after all this time, and they fight. which is really sad because right before he sees Cassie, and you're like, oh my god, he's actually about to maybe join the light side, and even then he's fighting with Cassian, and there's a moment where Cassian like looks at him and he asks, "Who are you?" And Cyril in his mind is like, "Who am I? Who am I?" And
No. I think you're misreading that entirely.
Well, because he started lowering his gun when Cassian asked that.
Cassian is the entire reason Cyril is here.
Yeah, he was the inciting incident.
Exactly. So to Cyril, Cassian is the most important person in his life, because if Cassian didn't kill those two guards and Cyril didn't go after him and cause this whole ruckus, Cyril would still have been still would have had his job back in his original place. He would not have gone back to Coruscant. He would not have gone to Gorman. To Cyril, Cassian is the single most important thing, but to Cassian, Cyril was just a random guy he ran into that he doesn't even remember, and like it's so good.
No, that is a way to read it, because you're right. I had been reading it as a way like where Cassian asks him, "Who are you?" and he asked that like 30 seconds after Cyril was having a big moment, like, "What am I doing here on Gorman?" So that's how I read it. But I also like what you said, where it's like Cyril's life has been consumed by Cassian for years. Cassian does not know who this guy is.
Yeah, it's like
so that's cool.
The day that Imbice embraced your village was the most important day of your life, but for me it was a Tuesday. Like it's that.
That's a
shit,
good energy.
Yeah, but like Cyril and Dedra are like my two favorite characters. I think in that show.
They're interesting. Crazy. I think I said during our media of the year that they have the sexual chemistry of praying mantises. not because the actors are doing bad at anything, just because the actors are playing these characters exactly as they are written. Mm-hmm. And if these characters were in a romantic relationship, they would act like praying mantises.
Exactly. I love the relationship, like on an entertainment level, I should say, not necessarily like like a health level, right? There's a lot of great other characters, like Cyril's mom. Cyril's mom is like heartbreaking to me because, God, is she fucking a bitch, right?
Oh my god, dude! Hey, she made me so uncomfortable every conversation she was in.
But then we get the cut to her during the Gorman massacre, and it breaks my heart, right? Because like, as horrendous as she is, she really did care about her son. And it's so upsetting because like that didn't have to happen to Cyril, but because of Cyril's choices and the side he chose, he just ended up on the wrong side.
And that's what ultimately is the deal with Cyril, is like the series frames him as a human. That does not mean we necessarily think he is a good guy or sympathize with him. The story is meant to make us understand the human angle of how someone could make the choices he did. It's like that Hunger Games prequel with Snow. It doesn't set out to make him a sympathetic character. It sets out to show how someone could do the things he did without the reasons in their head just being, holy shit, I'm so evil.
Yes. Yeah. I think like Cyril, I think really like ties the show thematically together, and I'm really, really happy that they included him in that entire series. I'm trying to think what else there is to discuss. I think Luthen's a great character, but I don't really want to get into him a lot because it's just Luthen's a simply complex character, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you don't want to dive too into him, this isn't specific to Luthen, but I think it gets very into what Luthen is doing as a character is. Like, I talked about the nuance on the Empire side of things. There's nuance on the Rebel side of things because, like, very early on in season 1, when they're doing the Aldhani raid, there's a moment where they are threatening a child with guns, and it is like to all the people present, they're like, this child is not part of the Empire Rebel conflict. He's a child. He doesn't know anything about the world. He's innocent, and they're threatening him anyway because they're like, okay, if we're not threatening this child, they're just going to arrest and kill us. Like, he's the only leverage we have. And so there's this whole concept of, like, the bigger people that we are fighting against, the Empire, whether it's in Star Wars or in real life, whoever they are the bad guys, and we are the rebels, and we're the good guys. So we have a moral code we have to stick to. But here it's kind of showing that it's like, the rebels are hopelessly outgunned by a factor of like 10,000. Like,
Yeah.
there's no world in which they can put up a true fight militarily. And so, for the Rebels and for Luthen, it's like if you are asking us to have an unbreakable moral code and to always fight fairly, frankly, you are asking us to lose. And that is just how it is.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. This is why I was like, I'm really appreciative of like how they kind of like pulled back on the camp and like really kept it serious, because you can have those moments and you can really get grounded in that universe and the conflict that's happening there. I think Andor is really good. I think like I wouldn't say it's overhyped. I do think like my expectations were a little bit higher than I thought it ended up being, but I still think the show's really.
This was your last piece of good Star Wars content, Joe.
It's true. Maybe somehow Mandalorian and Grogu will come out and be actually phenomenal, but we'll see.
That doesn't seem likely.
Nope. All I have to wait left now is the new Star Wars Jedi game, and maybe this mod that's in Starfield that's really good apparently. But Andor, I really like it, and I really like how it flows into Rogue One, especially the beginning part of it. It's funny because it's like people hated the opening of Rogue One because they thought the pacing was terrible, but like Andor has like made that opening like not like much more digestible and much more like natural of an opening.
It did. Like, I'm very glad I watched it with you after watching Andor, because if I hadn't watched Andor, I could have seen myself finding the first 40 minutes of Rogue One boring as shit, but instead the whole movie just felt like a season finale, and I'm like getting to see what happened to all these characters.
I haven't seen Andor, but I have seen Rogue One, and Rogue One is already like my favorite Star Wars movie. So much so that I remember being like, "Oh man, why aren't all these characters are so great? Why aren't any of them in any other Star Wars?"
Yeah.
All right, kiddos.
Yeah.
Like, Andor and Rogue One as a pair was fantastic.
Great pairing.
Is Andor the same characters?
Yes, it's
Pretty much.
it's a prequel to Rogue One.
Oh,
Pretty
man.
much the only character it doesn't have is the main character of Rogue One, Jyn Erso.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
All right,
It's very good.
we're gonna call it there for the Star Wars talk. You guys should just have another episode where you watch the remaining 3 and talk about Clone Wars and whatnot.
Yes.
I gotta watch I gotta watch the new trilogy at some point. I'm just putting it off.
Now you get to become a real Star Wars fan, bitching about the new trilogy.
For better or for worse.
Oh,
Mainly worse.
for much worse. Okay, I'm gonna try to get these next ones as fast as possible. Maybe we can keep this under 4 hours if we do that. All right.
No.
Don't say that. I caught up on Ichi the Witch. That was my other thing that I was experiencing. Read a lot of Ichi the Witch poolside. This was about 30 or 40 chapters from where I left off, where I read a little bit more before Media of the Year. I am all in on the Ichi the Witch train. This current arc is the one I needed. It's not even the Tapir arc that you guys were talking about earlier. It's this current one that has like the writing and the storytelling and the moments that I have been wanting for the series to like lock into and execute on, and it's killing it. I think only Tyler is up to this arc, and I think I'm behind one chapter now because I did not read this week's, but I should get on that after.
Yeah,
the
that's
podcast.
that's where I'm at. I'm all the way up.
I'm all the way up.
I don't know if I'm a fan of this this arc as much.
You were like, I hate the magic we're hunting. No, he's so good.
Yeah, no, I still stand by that. But I remember a little. I think during Media of the Year, you were like, y'all, I don't know about this guy.
Bakugami, I think is his name.
Yeah.
The guy. I like him now. He's good. He's warmed up to me.
You take everything back.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I don't like him yet. I didn't close my heart on him, but he just comes off a little strong at the start. Is all I'm saying. But
it's good.
Most recently, he had his Genos moment from One Punch Man, and it was very good.
Oh yeah.
The thing I was expecting is for him to be the most wholesome character. He is just Ichi's best little buddy. He loves him so much. It is the most like I thought he would be like the reluctant asshole in the party. No, dude, he's Ichi's like number one fan. I was not expecting that
He's just ride or die, man.
for real. Um, I like the new magic and his relationship with the other new magic, which is Kronos, who fucking rules.
Yeah.
He's really good. We're getting into weird weird concepts of magic and human relationships. The prophecy witch is like a big part of this arc, and she's been really good. But more importantly, Discaras is greater than Gojo. I'll say it right now. She's the greatest. Holy fuck! I was not ready for the master class. That was the last few chapters with that character. We are all aboard that hype train.
Nice.
Huge fan. Yeah, man, I'm really into this one. I also really like what's becoming of the magic system, where once you obtain the magics in this world, they enter your inner circle, and you can enter your own inner circle and talk to them. And really cool things start happening within Ichi's inner circle, where like now he has this little zone where he gets to have like a unique dynamic with all his magics, and they have their own hierarchy of like looking after Ororo, and then he is like bullying them and in charge of them, but Ichi's in charge of everybody until that one cool chapter where they did the little swaparoo, and that shit was so sick.
It is a little Naruto.
It's a little shonen, man. This is everything.
shonen.
This is the DNA. This is Ichigo. This is Gon. This is everybody. This is
Yeah.
Black Clover even.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Everybody got the demon side, bro. Except for Luffy. He becomes a cartoon. And that's why he's
Yeah.
quirky.
He becomes he got the Bugs Bunny in him. He got
scarier
that
a
big
little bit.
Chungus. Dude, they need to animate Luffy Big Chungus.
They need to animate Luffy Big Chungus.
Like he needs to look like Chungus, Big Chungus, Bugs Bunny is what that is saying.
Sure, man. I didn't know this was something we needed.
It did that. That's Tank Man, isn't it?
But I think it is Tank Man. I think I don't know. I don't know what you want, but that's
It's also
Ichi.
Water Luffy.
Yeah, he's big Chungus boar. Everybody catch up on Ichi the Witch. As of chapter 65, it is now one of my favorite ongoing manga. It's so good right now.
But Willer, when are you gonna catch up with the Kane?
When Bradley, so we did Joe's 3 things that he gave us. Don't forget,
This is
y'all.
my third thing.
I have a thing for all of y'all. Joe started his. It's lost. He's a very diligent boy.
I also started reading what's it called? Ice Shield 21.
That was just a bonus. That was just vibes.
Yeah. Anyways, you should
lend
keep
me
going.
your Ice Shield volumes after you're done, because I also really want to reread Ice Shield on like a really clean format. That'd be sick. Wicked Part 2. What's up with that?
So yeah, Wicked Part 1 came out last year, and we got to do our due diligence. Talk about Wicked Part 2.
Of course.
Which I'll start by saying that what is true of the Broadway musical that has existed for a long time is also true of the movies. When people are thinking about Wicked, they're usually thinking about the first half of Wicked up until Defying Gravity, which to me is the most entertaining half. That does not mean Wicked Part 2 is not entertaining. I still really liked it. It's very notable that they kind of had to make some new songs for the movie because, like in the Broadway musical, Defying Gravity, people call that the halfway point. It's really not. It's more like maybe the 2/3 or 75% point. And then the plot kind of speed runs from there with very little songs. But Wicked Part 2, they need the movie to be the same length as the first one, so they kind of had some original songs, which they did a good job of like incorporating like the musical motifs of the existing songs, so they don't feel out of place, which was very nice. I will stand by my statement from a year ago when I watched Wicked Part 1. I think these movies are like the definitive way to watch Wicked. They have everything you would get from the musical and more. the music is just as good. Obviously, you're getting better sets, and you're getting to see the micro expressions of each character because you're up close instead of 1,000 feet away in the audience. It doesn't mean watching it in the Broadway musical form isn't its own experience, separate from the movies that you should experience. I just really like the movies. It's got to be said that, dude, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, like I look at NFL players, and obviously they work hard. There is a lot of work that's gone into the course of their lives to getting to them to that point, but also there is an element of just they are built different. There is no amount of hard work that would ever get me to an NFL player's level. Mm-hmm. And these women in this movie singing, they work hard, but also I'm like, they are just built diff. They're like, their DNA is like part angel. They're so good at singing that like I have to mention it when talking about these movies. And good at acting. They kind of cast these characters perfectly.
People would kill you in the streets. I hear people are very passionately against some of those changes and like acting and stuff. And they're wrong.
They're wrong. I'm sorry. It's like these movies were cast very well.
Today's the episode of us being right and everyone else being wrong. Wait, that's every episode of the Roundabout cast.
Like the only casting in this movie that wasn't 110% is maybe Madame Morrible, which for her they got the I feel bad I don't remember her name exactly. She's the lead actress in Everything Everywhere All
Michelle
at Once. Which she's an amazing actress, and I would have liked her in this movie maybe for another character. I just didn't see her as Madame Morrible specifically, but I mean even then she does a great job there. So I don't know, the casting in this movie is great, and I mean I guess I should talk about the story a little bit. This is Wicked Part 2, so it's kind of the second half, and I don't know, we get to put a huge bow on the story, and I think what really, whenever you're telling a story, it is like, what do you want the people who are experiencing this story to get out of it? Like, what are you trying to convince them of? What lesson are you trying to teach them? What information are you trying to communicate? And I think a really cool part of Wicked is like learning where your strengths really lie, because Elphaba is like she's borderline the chosen one. She can do all this magic from the grimoire, and people think like, you know, she's going to use all this magic to save Oz or whatever, and it turns out that, you know, she's fighting back against the wizard, and no amount of powerful magic is actually getting her to accomplish her goal. And it turns out at the end of the movie, and they have a whole big musical number about it, that Glinda is the one who can actually save Oz, and she can't do any of the magic that Elphaba can do, which is wild because Glinda's whole deal is ever since she was a little baby girl, the only thing she has ever wanted is to be able to do magic. She wants to be a witch, and she wants to be good at it, and it just never works out for her. And so then at the end of Wicked, you basically have the most powerful magic user there has ever been saying all of the magic in the world is not enough to save this country, but you can do it, because Galinda's power is that people look up to her. They like her. There's someone people look to. And for the first time in her life, she realizes she can actually use that to make a difference in the world. Which like might not be an impactful story to everyone out there, but I think it's, I don't know, I think it's kind of unique. We don't necessarily hit on these themes all the time in stories, so I really like it. And there's not a whole lot to say here. I mean, Wicked's been around for a long time, but my point is, if you haven't experienced Wicked, you don't have to wait for a Broadway show. These musical movies are out there, and they are a great way to experience Wicked.
I need to watch them. I really wanted to for Media of the Year, but I ran out of time. I was Pluribin. I said it was Pluribin time. All right. This leaves us to our penultimate thing, which was 28 years later.
No, that's not our penultimate thing, is it?
It is?
Second to last thing?
No.
Yes.
Pluribus is our penultimate thing.
Penultimate means second to last.
Oh fuck! I didn't read.
Wonderful.
God dang it. Okay. 28 years later is the third installment in the 28 series movies. Like I was gonna say 28 years, 28 days later franchise, but then the second one's 28 weeks later, and then it's 28 years later. Unfortunately, this movie takes place 22 years later after the original first movie, which came out in 2002.
They couldn't pull off the Twin Peaks.
They really couldn't. Unfortunately, it would have been pretty cool if they could. So this one takes place in London, England. We find out that 28 years later, the entire world has just abandoned the UK to like zombies and shit. So like it's so bizarre because you get this like cult-like mentality of what's going on in the UK, and we focus around this one hamlet. Now this hamlet is on this little village of people is on an island, and they've been living for the last 28 years without zombies. Like they're living away in the UK area away from zombies. But they get access to the small island via high tide and low tide. And during low tide, they will go onto the mainland to become like hunters, warriors of the zombies, you know? And that's where our main character and his father are finding their relationship together. And it focuses around a young boy and his relationship with his parents and the world around him and what he wants to be the truth of the world, because he was born onto this island where all he knows is zombies exist in the world. And like they have this like type of training that they do. Like they have some nice symbolism to like Hitler Youth in some ways, which is really weird.
Just
for, like,
nice little Hitler
indoctrination
Youth.
against fight.
Yeah, I love Jojo Rabbit.
Which is like weird because like they're fighting against zombies. So like as 6-year-olds, they have like zombie corpses like pinned up on these little things, and they're like shooting bow and arrows at them, and they're like learning to hunt zombies as young kids. So whenever he goes out into the real world, it's a lot different than his training, and it's about his like realization of how cruel the world can actually be and what's actually going on. There's some interesting bits about this movie because we don't know anything about any of the characters from the previous movies. This is just a standalone movie. You could just watch it. However, they do have a sequel coming out called The Bone Tower.
But yes.
Which
I guess fuck the naming scheme. We can't do like 28 decades later, I suppose.
It's 28 years labeled : to the Bone Temple.
Oh, the Bone Temple. Yeah, the Bone Temple. Which this is what I think is actually. It could have been like 20. Movie could have been called like 22 years later, The Bone Temple, and they could have just kept using random numbers throughout it. It's got Ralph Fiennes in it, who plays the chef from The Menu,
and Voldemort,
also Lord Voldemort.
For, our topical.
What?
Forever.
He
plays Voldemort
as well.
Or he plays M. Gustav from The Grand Budapest.
Yes, he also plays that.
Oh, he plays Voldemort? This guy?
Yes.
No way. This guy's not Voldemort.
Yes.
You should go back and listen to the last minute of this podcast. It'll be pretty funny for you.
This guy has a nose, man.
I know. It's crazy.
He also plays him in the last 2 Daniel Craig movies. Movies.
Wait,
Yeah.
he plays Voldemort? Okay. So what else? What else is going on with 28?
Yeah. It's wild that they're gonna do I think they're tired of making a single movie every 9 years, and they're gonna just like kind of drill in on the franchise. Because I think 28 Weeks Later came out in 2007, so that was 5 years after the original movie. So they waited, 18 years between weeks and years. So I think they're just gonna make a bunch of movies. It's a little weird though, I will say. I think there's a charm about the first two movies being made by what appears to be big time British movies, like studios. And these are being done by Sony Pictures and distributed, and like they've got pretty big,
the big budget up, but
yeah,
less
big
charm.
budget up. So there's something to be said about the like shittiness of the first movie that just has such charm. Plus, each movie has a different director. It's one thing, I think that almost every other movie will have a different director. Also, holy shit, the Bone Temple comes out this Friday.
Yep.
Whoa, 28 Years Later came out last year, no?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Quick turnaround.
Well, it's very prudent. Well, it came out in June of last year, so this is 7 months later.
Not 28 days later.
Yeah, very crazy. Actually, hold that thought, y'all. Oh, look at that. Danny Boyle, who directed 28 Days Later, directed 28 Years Later, but he did not direct The Bone Tower.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a good zombie franchise. They've established some new zombie powers in this movie. They have alpha. So what's that new zombie game that's like has nighttime zombies? That's been the latest zombie game that people play, other than like 7 Days to Die.
Dying Light.
Dying Light. So it's got like Dying Light zombie powers, I think. We get a lot of zombie dick in this movie, Bradley. Might be up in your alley. We get big floppy zombie penis.
You're the zombie dick guy. That's what he
Bradley
thinks
is
of
the
you.
zombie dick guy.
Live with
Bradley
that.
showed me this one picture a lot in college of penis, so that's I think of Bradley as like he would appreciate a nice dick. He would appreciate a nice dick on screen,
Oh fuck!
Oh, man.
I gotta find that.
Oh shit. Okay. It's getting late. We're losing it.
Check us out next podcast when Joe has watched 28 Years Later and The Bone Tower.
And he loves the big penis. He's like, what the fuck? Sorry,
Joe.
I signed you up.
Joe, if you watch 28 Years Later, there's gonna be a point in the movie where you go, no, kill it.
You know what my favorite thing is when Tyler imitates Joe. He's so good at it.
You know what, Tyler? Just because you said that, I will actually go watch 28 Days.
Oh my god, he's so good.
Just so I can figure out what the fuck you're talking
He
about.
knows how to kick your ass.
Yeah, Joe, it's a really good movie. It's relatively short too. I think the movie's.
Yeah.
I think it felt like a really short movie. It's not. It's not. It's got a good mix of zombie and human discovery in it. I think it's a lot like The Walking Dead, where they're like, what if the people were the problems? It's like, no, like zombies in nature are definitely a fucking problem.
Yes, they are.
There's also a good question that I asked in this movie, and it's kind of addressed, which is I told y'all the rest of the world still exists outside of England.
Are they chilling?
So like, yeah, no, like they have fucking satellites still going above them, but like they could just
Laser
Google Earth that shit and see what's going on. But yeah, I digress.